Furman will receive. To kick it away, Trey Harold, number 15. He'll handle all the long place kicking duties today. And back to receive Mark Rudder, a 5'8 junior, number 24. He has averaged 25.7 yards a return on kickoff returns. He's had one run of 90 yards this year. And Sam, they'd certainly like to get out of the box quick.
That's what they've had an advantage of doing early in these playoff games, is getting back.
Harold's kick, and Rudder will be driven all the way back 9 yards deep in the end zone. He'll down it there. And the Paladins of Furman, dressed out in purple tops with white pants, will start from their own 20-yard line. Now, Sam, what are we going to see on the offensive end of the line for the Paladins?
The Paladins will come out and they run a multiple eye offense where they like to run the option, but unlike Georgia Southern, they don't like their quarterback to run the football.
The quarterback is Bobby Lamb, number 19, and starting in the backfield with him, number 34, Brian Jager. He's the tailback running out of the eye, and John Dry, number 30, the man in the front of the eye. He is a good blocking back. And they'll start with two tight ends. The center is Gene Reeder, the most outstanding blocker in the Southern Conference, even at only 212 pounds. And this is Jager on the toss. And Jager gets maybe a half a yard back to the line of scrimmage. Hit by Eddie Johns, number 79, one of the first men in there on him. And here is the Georgia Southern offense. Belser and Sharp are the wide receivers. The two Harrises, the running backs. And that's Georgia Southern's offense. And right now Furman has the football. So we'll get back to that in a minute. Second down, they'll give him a yard on the last play. So it's 2nd and 9 for the Paladins. Long signal count, and they'll give it to the up man. That's the fullback with a big hole, Dry. And Dry crosses the 35 to about the 37-yard line. A 15-yard gain for senior fullback John Dry.
John Dry going right up the middle between the center and the left guard. Georgia Southern shifting it just before the snap of the ball created that hole naturally.
Here's the lineup for Furman, and the offensive line, it is a good one. They have great technique, although they are not very big. Coppinger, the tight end, just to illustrate it, 212 pounds. The fake to Dry, Lamb on the option, pitches to Jager, and Jager with room to run up to near the 45-yard line, very close to a first down, a gain of 9 for Jager on the toss.
Bobby Lamb running the option. Watch him get leveled by number 73, Maurice Barron, getting the pitch off just in time.
Well, you quarterbacks have to pay for that stuff, don't you?
That's right. We get the glory, but we pay for it.
Second down, less than a yard for the Paladins. Opening possession of the ball game. The NCAA Division I AA Championship, the Diamond Bowl, from the Tacoma Dome in Tacoma, Washington. On 2nd and 1, Lamb to throw for the first time. And it's incomplete. In and out of the hands of Steve Coppinger, the tight end. Had a couple of different cracks at it, couldn't hold it.
I think he was throwing to Larry Grady that time on a post route, and I think he audibled at the line of scrimmage because it took him a long time, and that's the thing the coaches are most pleased about Bobby Lamb is his intelligence as a quarterback, that he can audible. In the last 2 ball games, he's audibled at the line of scrimmage and thrown 2 touchdown passes.
Sam, you were right. That was Grady, 83, instead of Coppinger, 88. Grady had caught 11 balls coming into this ball game. Furman 12-1, the Southern Conference champions. Now facing 3rd and less than a yard. They gambled on 2nd down, trying to pick something up. Lamb on a roll, near side, incomplete. That time tried to hit Mark Rudder, who is the kick returning specialist, also the backup flanker back. They lost Chaz Fox, their big play man, during the year. They've also lost a couple of outstanding tailbacks, but they've still gotten a lot of production out of it. So after a 9-yard gain on first down, they failed to pick up the first.
They didn't go for it. They gambled trying to go to the air, and that's what happens instead of trying to get the first down.
Alston Hamilton is into punt, and there is nobody deep for Georgia Southern. And Hamilton just lays it up, and we'll see what kind of a bounce it gets. Now, why did Georgia Southern not have anyone deep on a punting situation?
I can't answer that one. I have never seen that formation, but Furman what they did was very smart, because Kelly Smith, the strong safety, went down. He saw that that ball was going to bounce. He ran down to the line of scrimmage and did not even try to catch the football. He was going to make sure that it didn't go into the end zone.
There's a timeout on the field. Our score, 0-0. The Eagles of Georgia Southern will get their first possession. The ball marked around the 12-yard line. They said one of the Furman players touched it there. It had rolled dead at the 2. So Georgia Southern gets a little bit of a break, and they'll start from their own 12 with that option offense that is extremely difficult to put a defense on. But as we said in the opening of the show, Sam, that Furman defensive unit has played really well the last month.
They've been very stingy. Nobody has rushed for over 50 yards in the last month and a half.
Tracy Ham, he'll give it to Harris, cutting back inside. Ricky Harris, they get maybe 2. Harris, 6 feet, 190-pound junior, has rushed for over 1,000 yards this year, as has Tracy Ham. So 2 1,000-yard ball carriers, and Gerald Harris, the fullback, has 875 yards this year, and that tells you how much they run it, as well as the fact that they have played 14 games, including the 1AA playoffs.
2nd and 9 for Georgia Southern.
They'll call it 2nd and 9. It's closer to 8. Ricky Harris is 29, set on a wing. And he'll get the ball. Got up to about the 17-yard line. Nice play by Steve Squire, the free safety, who came up and made the trip on him.
Number 29, Ricky Harris is the ball carrier for Georgia.
Furman defense. The defensive line really tries to strip most of the blocking, and the linebackers in the secondary have been in on most of the tackles this year. Sometimes that can be a problem, though. If your safety's making all the stops, you're in trouble.
That means that they're getting a lot of yardage.
Squire, number 22, the free safety, made that last tackle. This is 3rd and 5. Harris, the fullback, broke off one tackle and into the secondary. He's got a first down at the 28-yard line. Finally had to be stopped in the secondary by Carl Moody, number 25.
Kenny Elder had him in the backfield, and that's the tackle that he ran through, breaking it, going right up the field. Of just a simple trap. Tracy Ham at the last minute held on red, saw that the tackle had come down, and decided that he wasn't going to get outside, so he turned the ball loose.
Harris does not get stopped behind the line very often. In 2 years, he has lost 5 yards. 1st and 10. The pitch to Ricky Harris outside. Nice tackle again by Steve Squire, who comes up from his safety spot to make a sure open field tackle.
Monty Sharp is trying to block on Squire coming up. What Furman defense is trying to do is isolate one-on-one. They're trying to put a linebacker on the fullback. They're trying to put a defensive end on the quarterback and then bring the safety on the pitch man. But what happens is you're gambling, because if one of those guys doesn't make the play, then it's Katie bar the door.
Squire is the number 2 tackler on the ball club, coming in with 81 stops and 5 interceptions. 2nd down, 8 yards to go. Ham to throw the first time. He's got a man out there, and it's complete to Monty Sharp, the flanker back at the Furman 25-yard line. And if you have an option quarterback who has an arm, it can be deadly.
Very deadly. They went to the strong side of the field and then threw back to the slot formation to Monty Sharp, who was running against a strong safety, Russell Rush.
That's a good catch. 39-yard gain, and Georgia Southern, an offensive unit that averages 29.7 points a game, has a first down in Furman territory. Gerald Harris right up the middle. Breaks a tackle down to the 16-yard line of the Paladins. Another first down for Georgia Southern after a 15-yard run. Last week, Sam, he gained 175 yards. If they give them the middle, this young man can run it.
That's exactly right. And what I was alluding to is if the inside man doesn't make the play, then you have problems, because everybody is concentrating on their assignment and you don't see what really happens and how the play develops.
Harris, 26 yards on the ground so far here in the first quarter. 9:43 to go. There is no score. And Tracy Ham, a tremendous option quarterback, running the offense. Once again, they'll give it to the fullback, Harris, inside the 15 to maybe the 14-yard line. On the bottom of the pile, Greg Hall, number 64, a senior out of Atlanta.
The key to that offense, though, is Tracy Ham's ball handling. He has done such a good job of reading early in the ball game and reading that initial read where he reads the defensive lineman. And that's the thing that the Furman coaches were so worried about, because you never know where the ball is.
They'll go with 2 wingbacks this time. One of them is really the tight end, Barron, number 27. And Barron will get the football. Squire chasing him and helped him out of bounds. What a shot he took over there from Robert Little, number 40, out of Greensboro, North Carolina. Drove a shoulder into him.
He helped his momentum on the downward motion.
Yeah. There's a look at Little. He is in there because Benji Mott, their best defensive back, injured a knee against Marshall. And Little, in taking over, has played very, very well. Has 5 interceptions on the season. Big play here, 3rd and 3. The fullback, Harris, the remaining setback. Ham wants to throw. Now he's in trouble and just threw it away. Nice play by Ham. He had Ricky Harris out there, but he wasn't trying to hit him, just throwing it away.
It's very difficult throwing the football down here because the field is so short and the secondary doesn't have to worry about getting beat deep. So consequently, they can play a little bit tighter. Tracy Ham wanted to go, and his receivers were covered, and he did a good job of eluding the rush and just getting rid of the ball and not taking the loss to make it a longer field goal. This will be a 26-yard field goal attempt by Tim Foley, one of the best kickers in the country. He is 20 out of 22 in the field goal department this year, but he missed this one. Foley, who rarely misses anything regardless of the range, pushed this one off to the side, and Furman dodges a bullet. Timeout on the field. The score, Furman nothing, Georgia Southern nothing. This telecast is presented by the authority of the NCAA, and any use of the program without written consent is prohibited. The announcers for this program have been approved and contracted by NCAA Productions. 8:15 to go in the first quarter. Georgia Southern had a 76-yard drive, started on their own 12 and ended on the Furman 12, and ended with a missed field goal. So we are still scoreless in a game that, Sam, we expect to be very high scoring by the time it's over. Well, and expecting a lot of yards. We have seen a lot of movement so far between the goal lines. Dry and Jaeger, 30 and 34 respectively, the running backs behind Bobby Lamb. Second offensive possession for Furman. Dry, the fullback. Hit pretty hard by John Richardson, number 77, the big senior defensive end, who was excellent against the run, but he picked up 4. And that's the key to recalling the offense, make it easy, is if you can pick up some good yardage on first down so you aren't forcing yourself to be in a passing situation. One thing to watch for, that Georgia Southern defensive line outweighs, in most cases, 30 to 40 pounds a man, the offensive line of the Paladins of Furman. 2nd and 6. They'll give it to Dry, the fullback again. Big hole this time. And Dry is tripped up by Jesse Jenkins, the number 1 tackler on the defensive line, but not before he got the first down. Bobby Lamb faking the toss, getting the defense to go wide, and then just handing back to Dry, going up the middle. Little trap block by the guard coming down, kicking out, making it a nice, easy hole, I think, that Mike, you could have run through. I doubt it. I've slowed down measurably. 7:19 to go for Furman. Jenkins, who made the tackle, by the way, the last of the original Eagles. This is Jaeger outside on the toss as the quarterback, Bobby Lamb, was leveled in the backfield. Again, Maurice Barron was making his acquaintance, making his presence felt to Bobby Lamb. I think he'd rather have a Christmas card. Bobby Lamb, quarterback's got to get his head around because on a counter option, because that end is going to come down flat and just get nailed. Georgia Southern, for those of you not familiar with the program, had a 41-year hiatus from football, just started again 4 years ago. And Jenkins is the last of the original Eagles. Everyone has always said he's not big enough to play, but he's been in there for 4 years, and he is their best defensive lineman. Lamb throwing sideline, complete.
Caught by Jeff Lee, the backup tight end, a 216-pound senior from Mount Holly, North Carolina. He juggled it but got possession just before he went out of bounds.
He juggled it because he had to go around an extra defender. The official was in his way. Bobby Lamb started out and pulled up, sprinting to his left, throwing the ball to the sideline. Look at Lamb get tied up with that official.
Moves the ball out to the 40-yard line, where it's going to be 3rd and 3 for the Paladins. Almost always will run out of the I formation. They're in it now. The option again, and Lamb will keep it this time. He's got the first down to about the 47, near the 48-yard line. They don't like him to run the ball, as you said, Sam, but you wonder why. Every time he pitches it, he's drilled. What's the difference?
The difference is he's lulling them to sleep because he's pitching it so quick, and he's been successful in defeating their attack. So now they're starting to ignore him. They're going to go concentrate on the pitch man, and that's the advantage of the option because you keep the defense guessing.
But he'll get his bruises one way or another.
He'll be sore tomorrow, I bet.
1st and 10 for the Paladins. 6 minutes, 10 seconds to go. First quarter in a scoreless game. Straight back to throw. Good protection. Guns it over the middle, and it's complete to Kirk Burnett, rather. The split end, 13 yards. And Bobby Lamb, they say, is such an excellent reader, and he read that one beautifully.
He definitely did. They're running just simple down and in pattern. Bobby Lamb looking the defense off and then throwing the ball right in the seam. Kirk Burnett, who has picked up the slack when Chaz Fox got hurt, he now has 32 catches on the season.
Chris Aiken out of Charleston, South Carolina, made the tackle. He has 6 interceptions on the year. Both of these clubs with a lot of people with interceptions. They'll go with 2 tight ends. This is Bagwell into the ball game, carrying it for the first time down to the Georgia Southern 33-yard line. Bagwell, a sophomore who's gained 660 yards this year and scored 9 touchdowns. Got some gaudy statistics for just about everybody on the field today.
My goodness. Well, that's the way it is in championship game. Just think if this was a baseball game, how many stats we'd have.
That's right. They've earned their way here. Lamb leads them out. His nickname by the coaching staff is Atari. They say he is so very well programmed to run this offense. Fakes the toss, wants to throw again, right on target one more time. This is Mark Rudder, who makes the catch inside the 20-yard line. Another gain of 12. Coaches and the people told us that Lamb did not have the strongest arm in the world, but he's certainly accurate.
But he's very effective, and it's not how, but how many completions we're talking about. And here he just simply finds the seam. Georgia Southern likes to run a 3-deep coverage, and there's a lot of seams underneath if your receivers can hook up in the middle.
Lamb is 3 out of 4 for 35 yards on the season. He's completing almost 58% of his passes. Once again, 2 tight ends out of the eye. They'll run the option to the weak side, and Lamb kept it. Just dragged down.
Number 19, Bobby Lamb, the ball carrier.
Just had a hand on him. Charles Carper, the weak side linebacker, is the number 2 tackler on the ball club.
Bobby Lamb that time got Hugo Rosignol to go with the pitch man by faking a toss to him and then turning it up the field so that he created his own running lane.
That was a gain of 6. 2nd down and 4 yards to go. Georgia Southern had one scoring threat that misfired, and now Furman with its first big threat. Sent Grady wide left, number 83. And Burnett, number 10, is wide to the right. It looks like Lamb is changing the play at the line of scrimmage. He'll go to his fullback, straight up the middle inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line is John Dry, the senior from Landis, South Carolina.
We might mention this Georgia Southern defense is the same defense that the Georgia Bulldogs run because Irk Russell, their head coach, was the defensive coordinator for 17 years.
And turned down so many jobs, and you told me a while ago you found out the reason that he chose Georgia Southern over all the other offers he had had.
Because of the 41-year hiatus, he wanted to go somewhere where he could start from scratch and build his own program and institute his own philosophy. And
from nothing, in 4 years, he has his team in a divisional championship game. This is Bagwell, cuts inside. Bagwell on his feet to the 1-yard line. Good hard running by John Bagwell. He and Brian Jaeger will split the tailback duties, and they've done a great job at it.
A simple toss. Bagwell starts out to his left and then sees the seam and then just turns it north and south. Excellent power running.
First and goal. Paladins at the 1-yard line. Bagwell and Dry are the running backs. And it's Bagwell. Cuts it back. Touchdown. Well, Furman did just about everything you could ask on that drive. They threw the ball well, and they ran it well, inside and outside.
And that's just it. They kept Georgia Southern guessing on defense. They'd think they were going to run the ball, then they'd throw it.
Kevin Esval is on to attempt the point after. He is 57 of 58 this year. 205-pound senior soccer-style kicker. And he's got it through, and the Paladins of Furman from Greenville, South Carolina have taken the lead. We've got another break in the action with our score. Furman 7 and Georgia Southern nothing. 2 minutes, 50 seconds left to go. First quarter. Furman has taken a 7-0 lead over Georgia Southern. And the Paladins have already gained 69 yards on the ground here in the first period. Fernando Acosta-Rua to kick it off to Tony Belser. And it's taken by one of the up men and fumbled. That's Gary Miller, reserve fullback, who will take it out to the 30-yard line, where Georgia Southern will start first and 10.
Number 32, Gary Miller, returning the kick for Georgia Southern to the 31-yard line.
Bobby Lamb pitching the ball out. This is a touchdown by Furman. Look at the kick-out block by Goldsmith, the fullback, which allowed Bagwell to turn it up into the end zone.
Georgia Southern, first and 10 just outside their own 30-yard line. They have 32 yards rushing so far here in the first period. They run out of a variety of formations. Ham keeping it. And they got him as he crossed the 35 to about the 36. Good gain by Ham, who Irk Russell calls the best quarterback in the state of Georgia, regardless of classification.
And I have to agree with him after looking at film of him, how quick he is. And what he does is he gets that option man, the defensive end that's responsible for him. He always has a way of getting him in no man's land, and he'll fake the pitch and then cut up. Then he'll bring the defensive guy into his chest and then make the pitch at the last second. He's very, very effective.
We have to make the differentiation between fast and quick. He is not fast at a 4.7 40, but man, is he quick. This time he is not quick enough. They got him in the backfield, and a nice defensive play in there by Jeff Blankenship, the freshman linebacker, who a week ago was the hero of the semifinals by picking off 2 passes inside the 5-yard line that stopped drives. And that time he just shot the gap and came through.
And that's been the key, and that's what Irk Russell was afraid of. If they give them a lot of penetration up the middle, that's how you stop the option. You stop it early. You cause that mesh a lot of problem.
Third down, 6 yards to go for Georgia Southern, their own 36-yard line. The Eagles have had one scoring threat and missed a field goal. Ham to throw, got it out to the sideline, complete to the back, Harris. And Harris has the first down to about the 44-yard line. Ricky Harris, the leading receiver on the ball club.
There is a penalty on the play, so it might be coming back because there was motion. I'm not sure whether the motion man turned upfield just a little bit too soon.
The officials talking it over. We'll check the call for you.
On the offense. Illegal motion. This way.
And it will go against them and negate the first down as Ham found Ricky Harris in the flat. Harris with 26 catches coming into the ballgame. Not only the second leading rusher with 1,028 yards behind the quarterback, but the leading receiver. This will cost them 5 and make it 3rd and 11 from the Georgia Southern 31-yard line. Another thing that comes into play here, Sam, is frustration. Teams that are used to scoring a lot of points, if they can't score early, they tend to get a little bothered by it.
And it throws them right out of their game plan.
3rd and long. Ham straight back to throw this time, not running out of the option. And now he'll run out of the pocket and keep it. Got to the sideline, first down, shoved out of bounds by Squire. Number 25, Carl Moody, had a shot at him near the sticks but couldn't bring him down, and a gain of 13 for Tracy Ham.
He is so dangerous in the open field. Here he is dropping back to pass, looking for a receiver. All of a sudden, all the Furman defenders have pulled to the inside of the field, leaving him the whole left side where he just has one guy one-on-one, puts a nice move and gets the first down.
Tracy Ham, they call the offense the Ham Bone Eye. He's the only player in the country with an offense named after him. And he'll pitch it this time to his tailback, Ricky Harris. And not much on that one as Furman covered it well. There's another flag down.
I believe what happened is Gerald Harris, the fullback, Ricky Harris went in motion, and the fullback moved just before the snap, so they had 2 men in motion, which will negate this play also.
Now the officials are talking to Tracy Harris. I think he has an equipment problem with that helmet, and they want to take him to the sideline and get that changed.
I've got illegal motion. It's on the offense. Has been declined. Second down.
They'll decline it because there was no gain on the run. It'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Loss of down. You don't want to give Georgia Southern very many chances.
That's right.
Georgia Southern, the ball's their own 45-yard line.
Checking into the lineup is Delano Little, number 80, at the split end position. He'll go to the left, and Monty Sharp, the flanker, comes to the right, along with Barron, the tight end, on 2nd and long. Ham being forced out of the pocket again. Oodles of time, and now he'll run it across midfield to the 48-yard line. And trailing the play was Brian Allison, number 71, who made the tackle for the Paladins. Boy, Ham is just so quick.
He is so quick, and when you have that much time, that's when defenders just hate being in that position, because you don't know whether the quarterback's going to run the ball or if he's going to throw it. You come up to make the play on the run, and then he throws the ball behind you. You stay back, and then you give him all that room. Make a nice gain. That time, Tracy Ham was allowed the chance to gain 8 yards.
Furman with an excellent secondary. They've had 28 interceptions. Ham has carried the ball himself for 27 yards here in the period, but they will not get off another play here at the first quarter at the Tacoma Dome. We have run out of time. That is the end of the first quarter with the score, Furman 7 and Georgia Southern nothing. We'll be back after this message. This is an NCAA Productions telecast. Georgia Southern with the ball at the Furman 47-yard line, and Tracy Ham trying to outrun Squire, and Squire will get him out of bounds at the 29-yard line. They really sucked him in on that one, Sam.
Excellent ball handling. The whole Furman defense collapsed on the inside, going with that inside fake. There's Tracy Lamb running down the field, just showing his speed. Squire running him down on the sideline.
Good play by Squire. He's made a couple of saving tackles so far in this ball game, but it's another first down. For Ham, 5 carries, 45 yards, working on 1,100 for the season. 1st and 10. Ham, he'll keep it this time. He did not make the right decision. And a nice tackle by Carl Moody, the right defensive end, number 25.
Furman defense had that one very well played. I think he did make the right decision because they were closing down, and he probably would have had the loss because they were in such good position. Squire was coming again from his safety position. Here's Tracy coming down the line of scrimmage, seeing Squire coming up from his outside, ready to take the pitch man. So he said, well, I'll just take this 1-yard gain.
If the pitch man is covered, the quarterback really doesn't have much of an option after that. They'll give it straight up the middle of the fullback. Not much there this time either. They get near the 25-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and about 6.
Number 35, Gerald Harris, the ball carrier for the Eagles.
Might be a passing situation here with 3rd and long, but you never know with an option-type defense. You get that option-type offense. You get the defense guessing, saying they're going to throw the ball, and then all of a sudden you cross them up with the option.
Delano Little checks into the ball game. He'll go to the far side, and number 27, Herman Barron, to the near side. You got Ricky Harris on a wing. It's 3rd and 6. And Ham to throw. Plenty of time again. Chased out of the pocket again. Look out from behind. Got it away, and it was knocked down. Got a lot of pressure that time, and Jeff Blankenship, the linebacker, almost got an interception out of it as Tim Stepp, number 42, was applying the pressure.
Tracy was almost across the line of scrimmage when he did throw that one. Blankenship coming out of nowhere and knocking that pass down.
Now they'll try a long field goal, a 44-yard attempt by Pat Foley. He has the range. His long is 54. He is 20 of 23 this year, including a miss earlier in the ballgame. Plenty of leg on this, and he got it through. 44-yard field goal by the sophomore place kicker Tim Foley, and Georgia Southern has gotten on the board with 13:33 to go in the half. We've got a timeout on the field with our score: Furman 7 and Georgia Southern 3. Georgia Southern with its first 3 points of the championship game, now down 7-3 to Furman, and they'll kick it away. Trey Harold, whose first kickoff attempt went 9 yards deep in the end zone. Mark Rudder, number 24, is waiting at the goal line for this kick. We're in a beautiful facility today, the Tacoma Dome, the largest wooden beam structure in the world. And Rudder will down this one again, very deep in the end zone. Beautiful facility here in Tacoma, Sam, and this is your home area. Seats some 20,000 for football. They can seat 30,000 for concerts, and what a nice place to play.
It is a nice play, and especially when the fog is in like it is. And
That's right.
Being a non-player as I was, I really appreciated the dome structures like the King Dome and the Tacoma Dome.
We were outside, we couldn't see the field. The poets say fog sneaks in on little cat's feet. This one lumbered in on big paws of something and stayed.
Bigfoot's from the Northwest.
That's right. 1st and 10, Paladins from the 20. And Lamb will give it to his fullback. Nothing there. Dry didn't have a chance as Jesse Jenkins, number 67, right in his way. Remember, as a defensive lineman, Jenkins is only 220 pounds, but he is very quick and very strong.
Very active. He is the leading tackler on that defense with 149 tackles. So I imagine he's used a lot of ice after ball games.
It's very unusual to see a down lineman have that many tackles, but he's done it. He's a good one. 13 minutes and counting in the first half. 7-3 Furman. They're facing 2nd and 10 right now from their own 20. Lamb straight back to throw over the middle, complete again. Lamb is really hot. This is Jeff Lee, his tight end, near the 30-yard line, and another first down. Depends on where they mark it.
What Furman is doing is using a quick passing game. They're getting the backs to pull the linebackers out and then sending the tight end right down the middle of the field to hook up between the two linebackers. Very, very effective passing game.
3rd down and inches for the Paladins. Dry as the fullback in the eye. Instead, they'll toss it to Bagwell, the tailback, trying to get outside, and he has the first down. Boy, did he take a shot. Number 24, Milton Gore, the reserve safety, came up while another man had his arms wrapped around him. Gore just drilled him.
Yeah, they love those free shots. You hold him, and then I'll drill him.
Hardly seems fair, does it?
Well, those defensive backs are not real big, you know, so they need a little bit of help.
Gore didn't need much. First down, 10 yards to go. Bagwell is a good hard runner. Jaeger has come back in at the tailback spot, and he'll get the pitch. Trying to get outside, no dice. Excellent defensive work that time. Danny Durham, number 26, the strong side linebacker, right where he was supposed to be.
And Chris Aiken also coming from the secondary. They had all phases of the option covered that time. Georgia Southern stopped the quarterback, made him pitch, and then had the secondary coming from the outside to take the pitch man.
A good solid tackle by Durham. 2nd and 10. The ball near the 32. Lost maybe a half yard on that last play. Lamb with plenty of time. Again complete. Across the 45 to about the 47-yard line is Larry Grady from Riverdale, Georgia. They're just finding the seams in that defense, and Lamb is hitting them time after time.
The thing that makes this play go is the way Bobby Lamb looks the defense off. That time he looked the outside linebacker Danny Durham to the outside and then threw the ball back inside. You can see Danny Durham running to the sideline. He was supposed to be in position to stop that play.
Lamb 5 out of 6, 69 yards. They'll give it to Dry, bobbled the ball for a second, and then breaks loose. Dry inside the 40 to about the 39-yard line of Georgia Southern, brought down by Danny Durham, the linebacker, but it's another first down for the Paladins.
And that's just the third time that they have run that play. 2 times it has been very successful, where they fake that toss and then hand the ball back underneath to the fullback, where Dye can just go right up the middle and the guard kicks out and opens up a seam.
Dry is averaging 5.3 yards a carry this year. First and 10, Furman. Georgia Southern 39-yard line. Bagwell back in at the tailback spot, and Lamb to throw. Blitz, and they got him. They sent everybody on that one. Hugo Rosignol, number 28, the rover back, a very physical player, a hard hitter, was the first man to get there.
Bobby Lamb wants to count the players on the Georgia Southern defense, make sure they didn't bring players from the game. Here's a shot from the end zone. You can see what he saw. He looked downfield. He didn't even have time to get set. He was getting sacked.
What he saw was a lot of white jerseys. 9 minutes, 50 seconds to go. First half, 2nd and 19 now for Furman. First sack of the ball game. Go with 3 wide receivers. Lamb throws, and he's got another man out there. Chris Speaks, former quarterback, who, because of all the injury situation, is now playing tailback, and he went out as a wingback that time.
And you watch Bobby Lamb looking to the left and then turning back and throwing the post route right up the seam. It's just kind of a seam route where you split the safeties out and you send a guy right down the middle.
Just got it over the hand of number 46, the linebacker, Tyrone Hall. Big play, 1st and 10 Furman. They're already up 7-3 and driving. Now at the Georgia Southern 21. Bagwell again cuts it back. Nice kick out block again by the fullback that time. And Bagwell is inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line.
Well, we certainly haven't been disappointed. We said this was going to be an offensive show, Michael,
right.
And it has lived up to every bit of that.
They'll mark it just inside the 18, where they'll call it 2nd and 6. Larry Grady, number 83, goes to the far side. Kirk Burnett to the near side. This team has won the Southern Conference Championship 6 times since 1978. Lamb again, and this time there is going to be a flag down. They'll get interference as Grady was running a post pattern and somebody held him up.
Let's see if we can get that on the replay. From the very beginning at the snap, you might be able to see Bobby Lamb hold up his hand. I think that wasn't audible because he was supposed to send the guy in motion coming down the line of scrimmage. Said, wait a minute, I think we can get the post in. Don't come in motion. And then he had a hard time getting off the line of scrimmage. Georgia Southern secondary was all over him.
And it will be a holding call because I believe the penalty occurred before the pass was thrown.
Grady had to fight through 2 or 3 Georgia Southern defenders.
And of course, it made Lamb's pass look very bad. He was about 15 yards too far over the middle, and that's because Grady never had a chance to get there. There's Irk Russell on the sideline, the Georgia Southern coach, who has done an incredible job of building his program from nothing to a championship game in only 4 years.
Looks like he goes to the same barber that Otis Sistrunk went to.
That's right. And the penalty is holding against Georgia Southern.
On the defense, an automatic first down.
It'll be 1st and goal. The ball spotted inside the 9-yard line. Furman has been very impressive so far here in the first half. I only have one wide receiver this time. That's Grady. He goes wide left. Bagwell and Dry are the running backs, 32 and 30, behind the quarterback Lamb. Calling another audible. Bagwell to the 5, touchdown.
Again, power running by John Bagwell, turning it on. Excellent kick-out block by the fullback.
And let's give a lot of credit to Bobby Lamb. You could tell it was an audible. He saw something in that defense that left a hole, and sure enough, he picked the right play.
I think what Bobby saw was the fact that Georgia Southern, there was nobody that was more than 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. Everybody was up around the line of scrimmage, and when that happens, all you have to do is break the plane, and there's nobody that can track it down from pursuit because you're in the short end of the football field.
Esval is on for the point after. 58 of 59 this year, making 59 out of 60. And with 8:22 to go in the first half, Furman has jumped on top. We've got a timeout on the field. Our score, the Paladins 14, Georgia Southern 3. Once again taken by one of the up men at Georgia Southern. Get back to the 30-yard line, and that is Gary Miller, who fielded the last one. So Georgia Southern has not been able to turn loose Tony Belser, a 15-yard return on that one. And Georgia Southern will start outside its own 30-yard line.
You have to wonder if that's by design that they're not kicking the ball deep. Now it's going to be interesting for us to watch to see. Furman has always had the advantage during this playoff series of getting out to a lead and then forcing their opponents out of their game plan and forcing them to have to play catch-up football. Let's see if Georgia Southern starts throwing the football a lot.
Dick Sheridan on the sideline in his 8th year, 69, 22, and 2. Ham on the option, has to keep it, dives across the 25. Once again, defense very well by the Paladin defense.
Carl Moody just playing his assignment was the quarterback. And the thing that Furman is doing is they are not letting their option man be fooled. They're assigning him the quarterback. He doesn't have to worry about the pitch man, which is forcing the quarterback to make the decision. So Tracy Ham is really not getting much room to run with the football.
Even though it didn't look like much, Ham still got 5 yards out of that one. He is 7 for 50 on the day. Fullback will get 2 or 3. That's Gerald Harris. To about the 38-yard line. That's why they give you all those pads, and sometimes they don't even give you enough.
Oh, it definitely, and they're getting lighter too, because the guys are getting bigger, and they're getting faster, and they're getting stronger, and when they hit you, it hurts a little bit more.
But when you get cut, you still bleed. Third down, 3 yards to go for the Georgia Southern offense, which has been held without a touchdown for a quarter and a half. Probably getting a little itchy right now. Send the tight end in motion. Offensive line moved. And that's Jeff Evans, number 60, who stood up a count before the snap and got caught.
Once the offensive lineman hand touches the ground, he cannot move. He cannot change his stance at all. That time he did.
Evans has a word with the official, but it's not going to help. Never does.
Saying, I didn't think you'd see me.
Well, he's 6'5", 260. When he moves, you're probably going to see him.
Plus, they're in that all-white uniform.
That's the third penalty against Georgia Southern. Furman has not been whistled for one. Third down, 8 yards to go now. Maybe another passing down for Tracy Ham. And he's straight back to throw. Guns this one complete. Good throw that time to Tony Belser, and Ham got it to him on a line.
Looks like a play out of the Furman playbook. It's the same play that Furman had just run, where they run that seam pattern. You take your flank and you run him down the seam between the safeties. You like to do that against that 3-deep zone where you get the safety occupied so that there's one guy that has to cover 2 people.
Belser averages over 25 yards every time he catches the football. Ham wants to throw again. And just overthrown for Monty Sharp. Just outside the 10-yard line, and Ham had it just a little bit too strong for him.
Again, they're running that option pass, trying to go down the field. They definitely are coming out trying to get a quick score to get back into this ball game, because they don't want to go down into the halftime 2 scores down.
This is an excellent adjustment by Eric Russell and his coaching staff. They have shut down the option pretty well, and if a defense shuts something down, they have to be giving you something else.
That's right. Can't shut it all down.
Ham, 2 out of 4, 64 yards. They'll run the option again, and he got it off to Harris, the tailback, and Harris is dragged down. What a great play by Russell Rush, the strong safety, and Furman all along that defensive line, exactly where they were supposed to be.
And Tim Stepp also, he wrapped Tracy Ham up, forced him to pitch, and then Tracy broke away the tackle, but it was too late because he had already pitched the ball. He wished that he would have held on to the football because he would have been able to make a bigger play.
Rush, a sophomore from Camden, South Carolina, had fought off a block and was in position to make the tackle on Ricky Harris. So it's 2nd and 10. Make it 3rd down and 10. Scoreboard showing 2nd down, but it is 3rd. Over the middle, complete to Belser. Belser inside the 25 to about the 24-yard line. 18-yard gain, and Tracy Ham has come up with a big play when he had to.
A little bit of flooding the zone. That time they had 2 receivers in the same area. Tracy Ham pulling up and then throwing back. You can see both those receivers right there. Number 27, Herman Barron, thought the ball was to him. He tried it. He said, man, that ball's way behind me. I'll never catch that one.
They didn't have to. 5 minutes and 15 seconds to go. First half, Georgia Southern driving, trailing 14-3. Ricky Harris trying to cut it outside. Once again, another good tackle by Rush, the strong safety.
Little inside handoff, underneath handoff by Tracy Ham, getting everybody else thinking it's a sweep to the left side of the field, and then handing off underneath to Ricky Harris going to the right.
2nd down, 8 yards to go for Georgia Southern. The Eagles are averaging 29.7 points a game and a lot of yards, almost 400 a ball game, but right now they only have 3 points on the board. Fake the inside handoff this time, and Ham is being chased. Got away. Great move by Tracy Ham, still on his feet inside the 20 to about the 17-yard line. And that was not bad tackling. He just made 3 guys miss.
He makes the people miss. And the thing that Furman has got to try to do is come up the field and let their defensive ends maintain leverage. They see Tracy Ham as a standing target, and then they come in from the side outside, losing their leverage, allowing him to get outside. There you see him make a nice move, make the tackler miss, and then trip over a little extra pain on that 20-yard line.
3rd down, 3 yards to go. Big play here with 3:49 and counting in the first half. Harris, the fullback, will be stopped shy of the first down. Hit at about the 16-yard line.
Now the big question is, do you kick it or do you go for it?
And here comes the field goal team. We got a quick answer on that question.
That's right.
When you got somebody like Foley, I think you just almost have yourself a guaranteed 3 points, so you don't want to pass it up. 21 of 24 field goals on the year, and this time Foley will be kicking from 33 yards away. He is perfect from that distance this season. Got the snap down, and Foley just bombs it into the upper deck and gets Georgia Southern on the board again. We have a timeout on the field. 3:08 to go in the half. Our score, Furman 14 and Georgia Southern 6. As Trey Harold set to kick it away, take a look at this is the 2nd touchdown of the ball game that put Furman ahead 14-3. Georgia Southern has come back with a field goal to make it 14-6. That's the way we stand now with 3:08 to go in the first half. Georgia Southern to kick it away. Trey Harold to kick to Mark Rudder. And Rudder will have a chance to return this one from the 2-yard line. Nice return by Rudder. About 20 yards up to the 22-yard line. And with 3:02 to go, Furman will operate from there.
That was a big hit by Anthony, a receiver coming down on coverage.
We've got another timeout on the field with 3:02 to go in the first half. Our score continues. Furman 14, Georgia Southern 6. Furman leading 14-6 with 3:02 to go in the first half. Mike Patrick along with Sam Atkins. Hope you're enjoying the ball game from the Tacoma Dome in Tacoma, Washington. Sam, what do you think here? They're going to sit on it or try to get some more points?
They're going to definitely try to get some more points, open it up, and mix it up like they have been.
Lamb gives to Dry, the fullback, with another big hole up the middle. Gets to the 29-yard line.
tackle for Georgia Southern by number 41, Wesley.
Furman is the team that has played at a consistently high level all year long. They are not a team that's been up and down. Second and 3. The clock is running. Lamb under some pressure. Over the middle. Got his tight end to about the 43-yard line. Steve Coppinger, but there is a flag down, and it's back in the Furman backfield. Could be a holding call.
It definitely is a holding call because of the way the Georgia Southern defensive linemen are rejoicing.
One of the few things they've had to rejoice about in the first half.
The defensive line, you have to credit the guys up front for Furman because they've been giving Bobby Lamb a lot of time to throw and find his receivers. That last play, they ran a delay to the tight end, which takes a little bit longer to develop. You let the defense drop off, and then you just sneak your tight end out from all the massive bodies.
2:33 to go in the first half. Furman on top, rather, 14-6. And we'll march it back to the 20-yard line, making it 2nd and 13 for the Paladins.
All right, I got holding on the offense. We'll repeat the down.
10-yard penalty brings the ball back to their 20-yard line.
2nd and 13. 2 wide receivers and a wingback. Dry is the remaining running back behind Lamb, who wants to throw against a 4-man rush. Again, very accurate over the middle, and he completes it to Kirk Burnett. And Burnett up to about the 27-yard line. Burnett's averaged almost 19 yards a catch this year. A junior from West Columbia, South Carolina.
Nice call by the Furman coaches, not trying to get it all in one play, but trying to make it up in 2 plays. Now you have a lot more options that you can run with a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 situation.
1:50 to go in the half. Furman in possession with an 8-point lead, and Lamb wants to throw for the first down. Deeper over the middle this time, and a good throw to Chris Speaks. And a nice grab by Speaks at the 45. It is a first down, and Furman keeps the drive alive.
Just running that simple curl route.
And Speaks is going to limp off the field as Bagwell comes back in.
Bobby Lamb going back, and he is doing an excellent job of looking the defense off and then finding the receiver that's hooking up in that seam.
Very impressed by Lamb's performance here in the first half. Very heady quarterback. Out to Bagwell, and Bagwell is knocked out of bounds at the Georgia Southern 46-yard line. Boy, Furman just seems to do everything right. They make the play that needs to be made.
Well, that's what happens when you have a senior quarterback who's been around the offense for a while. He has the ability, the confidence that he can read. That time the Georgia Southern defense dropped back and took away the curl route. He just dropped it off to Bagnell in the flat. He's taken what the defense has given him, and that's why it making it look so easy.
Lamb has thrown for over 2,000 yards this season coming into this ball game. The passing efficiency champion in college football. A rating of over 170, which is incredible. On the option, they'll get it to Bagwell. Bagwell stayed on his feet somehow and got to the 37-yard line. What a job by Bagwell, who was at a tremendous disadvantage when he got that pitch. With 1:21 to go half, we've got a timeout on the field. We'll be back in a moment. Paladins trying to add some more points to the total. Lamb back to throw again. He has been sensational. And hits it over the middle inside the 20 to about the 15-yard line. Once again, it's Grady out of Riverdale, Georgia.
Furman is going into their 2-minute offense, their hurry-up offense, the no huddle, where Bobby Lamb calls 2 plays in the huddle, and they just run after the first one successful.
They're at the Georgia Southern 17-yard line, well within field goal range, leading 14-6. And Lamb, who has been almost perfect, back to throw again, and a flag goes down, and there's going to be interference as Larry Grady was being covered by Nay Young, and Young was all over him at the goal line.
There's a lot of laundry on the field, and Bobby Lamb has been back there, and I'm very impressed with him. The way he's throwing the football and the way he's operating this team.
So far, 10 out of 11, 126 yards. Can't beat that. No wonder he was the passing efficiency champion.
When you're hot, you're hot.
The officials talking it over. Let's see if it is going to be a holding or an interference call. A couple of different flags are down.
And then they're deciding whether it's offense or defense.
And they have decided defense against the Eagles of Georgia Southern. Now, the interference call is not at the point of the foul. It's from the line of scrimmage, which really makes a big difference this year.
It is, yeah. See, it's a spot foul if it's less than 15 yards. Then it becomes a spot foul. If it's more than 15 yards, then they just take and penalize the team 15 yards.
All right, I got pass interference. It's on the defense. We got an automatic first down.
So in this case, they'll move the ball half the distance between the foul and the original line of scrimmage. They move it to the 10, and it's a first down and 3. It turns out to be a 7-yard penalty. Lamb on the option. He'll keep it. Touchdown. Bobby Lamb just held on, saw the seam, and dove into the corner of the end zone.
That's taking what the defense is giving you. Georgia Southern had 3 defenders on the wide side of the field with the Furman 2 wide receivers. Bobby Lamb ran the option the other way into the short side of the field. And watch, if we can take a look at the replay, we will see the nice block by the fullback dive.
Esfall comes on for the point after. He is 2 for 2 in this game, 59 out of 60 on the year. And he booms another one through there. And Furman has done what it has done to most of its opponents in the Division I AA playoffs. They have jumped on top.
Looking at the touchdown, running the option into the short side of the field. Dry realizes he's not going to get the pitch. He goes up and he blocks the corner. And it looks like Nay Young is on roller skates going backwards into the end zone.
Dry has been an exceptional blocker all year long. He has run well today, but he has thrown some great blocks. And you must have a fullback that can block if you want to run that offense.
You ask any tailback that.
That's right. They buy them watches and stuff like that. Not here, of course, but...
That's right. We don't want to get in trouble.
No. What did... I think it was... one of the tailbacks, either Anthony Dickerson or somebody was going to buy his lineman Rolexes.
That was
not
Dickerson.
A bad deal.
Yeah, that was Dickerson.
Of course, nobody ever gives us Rolexes, do they?
No, they don't. I tell you, it's tough out there in the real world.
That's right. That's right. This is Fernando Acosta-Rua to kick it away. And Belser, now waiting on the near side, will try to get the ball. Instead, it's going to go to number 29, Ricky Harris. And Harris crosses the 20 to only about the 21-yard line. Now, the clock is continuing to run as we get a little extracurricular activity out there, and a flag goes down. We'll check out this call for you. Quarterbacks have been the story here in the first half. Lamb, 10 out of 11. 126 yards passing, 159 yards total offense, and a touchdown. And Ham, 9 out of 56, or 9 carries for 56 yards, 3 out of 5 passing.
Foul. Personal foul. This way.
It will go against Georgia Southern, as is almost everything right now. So they'll be put in a hole with 49 seconds to go in the first half, and that could very well change their offensive strategy in the last 49 ticks of the clock, Sam.
Well, yes, because now they have to go the long field, and then if you turn the ball over this deep, then what you're doing is giving up another score. So it's best to lick your wounds, just run the clock out, go in, regroup at halftime.
1st and 10 for the Eagles out of Statesboro, Georgia. And Ham with the little inside toss to Ricky Harris. Harris up to the 20. That little shovel pass. Really not as dangerous as it looks. If the runner drops it, it's an incomplete pass.
That's exactly right. It's a great play because you get the defense thinking pass. They're starting to drop, and you bring your wing back underneath, and you just kind of give them a little inside flip.
Hurry up offense as Ham tries to get out and throw the ball. Guns it over the middle. Complete. Nice toss to Sharp. And Sharp brought down at the 32, and they're going to stop the clock now with 20 seconds left. Georgia Southern will use one of its timeouts.
Obviously, That's why I'm up in the booth and Irk Russell's down on the sideline. See how well they've wrapped it up and decided to take it in at halftime?
20 seconds left. They're going to have to come up with something more than 10, 12-yard play in order to get in field goal range. Of course, they've got a kicker that has a tremendous amount of range in Tim Foley.
During warm-ups, we were watching him kick 60-yard field goals with no problem at all.
He has been outstanding for him this year, and he is their point production so far today with 2 field goals. Missed 1 earlier. And Furman leading 21-6.
I think that first miss by Foley was a result of the the championship game jitters.
I would think so.
Well, both teams came out just a little bit tight, and then since then on, boy, it's been a track meet up and down the field.
Georgia Southern comes back up to the line of scrimmage. The timeout period has not yet expired, so the official stops him. Now he'll let him go with 20 seconds left, first half. Ham back to throw again, being chased out of the pocket. He'll try to run it this time. Gets to about the 41-yard line, and they'll stop the clock again. This time only 12 seconds remain. Did exactly what I think Furman wanted him to do on that play, run and eat up some of that clock.
Yes, they definitely, you give him anything short underneath. Just drop everybody back. Don't give them the easy score. Make them earn anything that they're going to get.
Ham goes over to talk with the coaching staff again. Irk Russell walking out to talk to him. I think it's a great story what Irk Russell has been able to do at Georgia Southern. Took a team that did not have a football program and hadn't had one for 40 years. First 2 years only counted as club football because of the games that they could schedule. This is only his second year of NCAA Division I AA football. He's got his team in a championship game. That's just an incredible story.
That's right. Now you wonder how long he'll be able to stay at Georgia Southern before he gets all the offers, gets inundated with offers again.
Well, I'm sure he turned down a lot of them as the defensive coordinator for Vince Dooley. The Georgia Bulldogs always had tremendous defensive units. 12 seconds left, 2nd and 2. Georgia Southern needs a big play here to get in field goal range. About 35 yards. And time is going to expire before Ham gets his play off. Throws the bomb.
And it's intercepted.
And it's picked off. Jerome Norris made the interception. He was down there covering Delano Little. And boy, Tracy Ham has got an arm. He unloaded that baby. That is the end of the first half. The score, Furman 21, Georgia Southern 6. And we'll be right back with our halftime show after these messages. Deep to receive is Tony Belser, standing at the goal line for Fernando Acostarua to kick it away. And they have tried to dribble the ball on the ground as much as possible. Has Furman, and Georgia Southern has tried to cross them up, moving their deep receiver around Belser, but he's not been able to get his hands on the ball. And once again, they'll kick it to Ricky Harris from the 10-yard line. Nice return by Harris up to about the 27-28. And Georgia Southern will start from there. Here's the first half stats. And really, the statistics say it's a very close ball game. But the passing game has been tremendous for Lamb and Furman. 10 out of 12, 136 yards, and he has hit one big play after another.
He's taken what the defense has given him, and that's what's made him so effective this first half.
Number 8, Tracy Ham is the quarterback for the Eagles.
Tracy Ham is the fullback, or the quarterback, rather. Looking to throw on first down over the middle. Incomplete, off the fingertips of Monty Sharp, his flanker back. Sharp had found a seam in that Furman zone.
Tracy Ham had gone back to pass, looking hard to the left side of the football field, pulling the defense out and then throwing back to Monty Sharp. Finding it was a nice throw right in the seam. He should have had that one.
Ham 5 out of 10, 103 yards, as we are just into the first 10 seconds of the third quarter here in Tacoma. Mike Patrick and Sam Atkins with you. Hope you're enjoying the ball game. Here's the option. Ham to throw under some pressure. rolls out of it, guns it, complete. Good throw and a good catch by Tony Belser. And Belser at the 48-yard line has a first down.
Again, the Furman rush losing their leverage. Number 64, Greg Hulls, coming in from the outside. Tracy Ham gets around him, and now he buys himself some extra time, turns his shoulders up the field, and throws a nice pass up the field.
Belser, who averages 25 yards a catch on the season, grabbed that one and has a first down. Ham to throw again, that little shovel pass to Harris. And defensed well by the Paladins, and Harris gets to the 45-yard line and no more.
They really like using that shovel pass. What they do, they come out in a balanced formation to try to confuse the defense. Furman likes to offset their defense to the weak side, but there is no weak side when you have that balanced formation. And then they use their wingbacks on virtually every play.
Dick Sheridan on one side, there's Irk Russell on the other. Two exceptionally successful coaches. 2nd and 7. Ricky Harris with a bad pitch, can't pick it up, still can't pick it up, but he tossed it out of bounds. Harris got it out of bounds at the 30, but that will be a big loss for Georgia Southern, and the first time Ham has mishandled the ball.
Yes, what he did, he came down, he made that blind pitch trying to get the defender to commit. He didn't even look at his pitchman, Ricky Harris. Ricky Harris tries to pick it up and then kicks it, which increases the loss. Says, I can't get a handle on this, I need a round one, and then kicks it out of bounds.
Just scooped it out of bounds. And it's 3rd down and 22 yards to go for Georgia Southern. Harris, 8 carries, only 6 yards. Remember, this young man, a 1,028-yard rusher this year. And back to throw, wants a screen and overthrew his fullback, Gerald Harris. So Georgia Southern does not get a great start on offense, and a flag goes down on top of it.
That's a very late flag.
Sure was.
Being thrown over in the vicinity of where the incomplete pass was. Whether it's a dead ball foul or not, I don't know. I was watching Tracy Ham's reaction. It looked as if the ball had slipped out of his hands when he went to throw it, because that pass was sure very errant.
And it's
ineligible
against Georgia Southern. Somebody got downfield too quick on that screen.
Which happens on the screen pass.
But boy, you're right, the flag did come late.
It was real late. I think the official... Let's look and see. Yeah, there we go.
On the right side of the screen, they had somebody who was about 5 yards downfield. Sometimes those flags get stuck in the official's pocket and they can't get them out.
That's right. Sometimes that's on purpose, too.
Yeah.
Saying, I want to get out of this town alive.
Downfield, loss of down, 4.
Now that's the kind of penalty, in this case it really doesn't matter because the pass was incomplete, but with a loss of down, it can be a terrible penalty. That is really a severe penalty when you consider personal fouls are not that severe. So they'll have to kick it away, and Pat Parker, who averages 37.2 yards a kick, will punt to Rudder. The 42. Got away from one tackle. Flag goes down. He will not get away from any others. Good hard running by Rudder, but he stopped where he took it at the 42-yard line, and the penalty is going to go against Furman from the reaction of the Georgia Southern players. And it's a clip, the preliminary signal. So that's going to push Furman back out of really excellent field position. 13 minutes, 26 seconds to go, 3rd quarter. There's a timeout on the field. Our score is Furman 21 and Georgia Southern 6. Furman facing a 2nd and 6 from its own 30-yard line.
They're having a little bit of trouble with which football they should use.
Use that oblong one.
With stripes on it.
Bobby Lamb calling signals. Fakes to his fullback, then tosses it back to the tailback. Another good gain to the 39-yard line. Brian Jaeger. Jaeger and Bagwell have split time at tailback, and both have run very well.
They're both very effective. Bobby Lamb coming down the line of scrimmage, making that inside fake to Dreyer, then pitching.
And number 67.
Just turning the ball up the field.
5 carries, 21 yards for Brian Jaeger, the junior from Dunwoody, Georgia. And it's a 1st and 10 for the Paladins of Furman, already leading 21-6, looking for more. Fullback again, straight up the middle. Big hole.
Number 35, Kenneth Goldsmith.
And that's Kenneth Goldsmith, number 35, who's in there instead of John Dry, the starter.
26, Danny Durham. 9-yard gain. Second and 1.
Here are the fans from Furman, the Paladin Club. This is a long trip, a 3,000-mile trek for both of them, from Greenville, South Carolina, and from Statesboro, Georgia. Took them all the way to Tacoma to follow their team. Goldsmith again, a huge hole. And Goldsmith breaks it inside the Georgia Southern 35 to the 34-yard line. Kenneth Goldsmith.
That internal offensive line. Clay Hendricks, Gene Reeder, and Brad Merkel just opening up a huge hole. Goldsmith just, all he had to do was, there he put a nice mow-down move on.
Reeder, who won the Jacobs blocking trophy in the Southern Conference, went out there to hit somebody, and it was so wide open he couldn't find anybody to hit. Another 1st down for the Paladins at the 34-yard line. Lamb changing the play at the line of scrimmage again. He has been successful every time he's done that, and he still is. And it's a touchdown for Grady. Every time Bobby Lamb changes the play at the line of scrimmage, Furman comes up the big winner.
They definitely saw that there was no help in the middle. Changed the play to Grady to run that post pattern. So let's take advantage of what they're giving us. He laid that one up a little bit. I thought it was going to be a little bit too soft, and the receiver was going to get drilled. But unfortunately, he got the ball, had time to put it away, and then he made Nay Young bounce right off him. Nay came from the other corner, clear across the field to put a hit on Grady, but he just couldn't bring him down.
3rd touchdown catch of the year for Larry Grady, and Nay Young has gotten up very slowly, being helped to the sideline. Young is a sophomore from Savannah, Georgia, who had 6 interceptions coming into this ball game, and now you're looking at Kevin Esball, who is going to try to add the point after that would make it 28-6, and Furman really starting to run away with this.
This game definitely makes the people in Georgia very proud. There's 31 Georgians on the Furman roster.
Esball knocks it through. And it is 28-6, so there's a timeout on the field. Our score, the Paladins of Furman 28, the Georgia Southern Eagles 6. Here's the touchdown play that put Furman up by 21 points.
Looking at Bobby Lamb, see, there's no one in the middle of the football field, which is wide open. That's when you want to run that post pattern. You can see Nay Young coming from the other side of the football field. And
making a 22-point lead, and this is Belser with his first crack at a kick return, and he only got it back to the 15-yard line. Georgia Southern, Sam, is in a lot of trouble right now. They need to get something working on offense.
Well, Irk Russell said it at the top of the show in the lead-in. When we talked to him, he said, hey, if they take that away from us, we might as well pack our bags, but we still can throw the football. And Tracy Ham has thrown the football for 1,700 yards coming into today's ball game.
Almost 3,000 yards in total offense for the junior from High Springs, Florida, the quarterback. But he needs to get a lot of yards right now, and with 10:52 to go in the 3rd quarter, his team is down by 22. Ham double clutch throw. Oh, great throw that time. What a pass to Frank Johnson. 25 yards on the gain, and Ham followed him all the way.
Again, taking advantage of that seam. They brought him in motion. Ham waited until he got out to where he was in position, and then he just drilled that ball right up the seam just beyond the outstretched fingertips of the Furman linebacker, number 58, Kyle Davis.
Davis almost got there, but it's a 1st down, Georgia Southern. Ham wants to throw again out in the flat. Nice fake that time by Johnson. He got a couple, and that's all. Georgia Southern defended that very well.
And pass is complete to number 14,
Johnson's a freshman from Sylvania, Georgia. He's in there for Ricky Harris, the junior who's the leading receiver and the second leading rusher on this team. And we have not had any report on Harris of any kind of injury, but it's a little unusual not to see him in there.
He's standing on the sideline healthy. He came in late.
Here's the pitch to Johnson, and Furman again right there. Coming up from the secondary, good hit by Darrell Gardner, number 43, the linebacker.
I think the reason that Ricky Harris is on the sideline is Frankie Johnson, the previous 2 plays, had made 2 receptions. He's a better receiver, and since they do have to throw the football, they're starting to utilize their key personnel.
3rd down, 5 yards to go for Georgia Southern. Clock working with 9 minutes and 21 seconds left in the 3rd period. Furman now with a commanding lead. They'll send 3 wide receivers to the far side. Ham under pressure this time, trying to run it up the middle. Cat quick inside the 50, 45, 40, still on his feet at the 35-yard line. What a performance by Tracy Ham.
And the Georgia Southern bench is just erupting right now. Tracy Ham, great individual effort. They wanted to just run a simple delay route. Furman took it away. They jammed both receivers on that side. So Tracy says, I'll take it in my own hands. And then there you see he's just putting a lot of nice moves and just continuing to keep his feet going. He almost broke that one.
Boy, he just makes people look bad. Ham under pressure again. 3 or 4 pump fakes, now in a lot of trouble, through and dropped by Sharp. And Tracy Ham was absolutely leveled by Adrian Dupre, number 79, who finally got to him on the pressure.
Tracy Ham was at a disadvantage because he had to stop to throw the ball clear back across the field, and when he stopped, Dupre came barreling down on him.
Yeah, Dupre didn't stop.
That's right. He said, you are mine.
Incomplete pass will make it 2nd and 10. Well, Ham is just a lot of fun to watch.
Because you never know what to expect. He's so exciting. He's good at making people miss.
And will blow the play dead.
He'd delay a game.
Did not get it off in the allotted time. So that'll cost him 5 and make it 2nd and 15.
On the offense, 2nd down.
Georgia Southern does not need any mistakes. They need things to go right for them from this point on, down 28-6.
You'll notice Georgia Southern holding hands in the huddle. I think that's part of Irk Russell's teamwork philosophy. Hey, we're all in this together.
Man in motion is Herman Barron. And Ham wants to throw again under tremendous pressure. Got rid of it and complete to Johnson. Boy, just credit Ham. He is so quick and so bright.
Great individual effort. We'll see him, we'll see him in the hands of Carl Moody and still get the pass off and make it a completion.
Boy, Moody has played well today, too.
He's been all over the field. Look at the presence of mind saying, hey, where's my receiver? Better he than me.
And he had something on it and completed it. Big play, 3rd and 14. Ham double pumps. He's in trouble this time. Got rid of it and completed again. This is his fullback, Gerald Harris. Harris to the 30. A flag is down. Harris near the 1st down at the 26-yard line, but I think we've got a clip or a hold against Georgia Southern. And once again, Tracy Ham with just tremendous individual effort and great vision to find a receiver on his way down.
And Harris doing an excellent job of running with the football, but I believe it's going to come back because Frankie Johnson clipped Carl Moody.
And it is. Exactly right, Sam.
Let's watch Tracy Ham composure as he's in the grasp, looking for a receiver still. Never say die.
Kenny Elder was just all over him.
And the Canadian scouts are looking at Tracy Ham, and once he gets to the pros, they'll teach him, say, now you're supposed to fall down. You're not supposed to fight like that.
Maybe we can see the clip.
There it is right there. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
see number 48, Frankie Johnson, coming in and blocking below the waist and behind the back, hitting Carl Moody. Moody was real slow getting up.
Georgia Southern has, as you see, 7 penalties on the day for 59 yards.
3.
It will be 3rd down and now 21 as they mark it back from the spot of the foul all the way back to the Furman 46.
That's got to be very disheartening, too. 2 big plays and 2 penalties. That's got to take a lot out of this Georgia Southern. This is a true character test right here.
3rd and 21. Ham brings them out. Only a 2-man rush. And a man still wide open, and he hit him. That's Belser at the 24-yard line, 1st down. 9 men back on coverage, and Tracy Ham found Belser. Even with 9 men back, there's seams.
My goodness, let's take a look at this from the end zone. Look at all the time that he has. He looks to his left, looking to defense. Then he looks back, sees Belser in the middle, and just throws a shot behind the linebacker. That's a very tough throw because the ball's got to get up and go down. Look at the collision and the concentration of Belser. Look at the shot that he takes. He bounced 3 yards forward.
That's Steve Squire, who's hit several people today. 10 out of 17, 169 yards for Ham. And it's a touchdown to Monty Sharp. Great pattern and a great throw.
Great throw by Tracy Ham, starting out to his left and pulling up and throwing back. They've had a lot of success because the defense is so concerned about pursuit and not letting him get outside. He gets them going that way, and then he's throwing back where they have moved from, finding those seams. That time he threw that post pattern because the weak safety had come to the left side of the field.
Now you would expect Georgia Southern to go for 2, and a little confusion, and they have to use a timeout that they may need dearly later. But they're down by 16 points, and with 6:51 to go in the 3rd quarter, there's a timeout on the field. Furman 28 and Georgia Southern 12. Georgia Southern used a timeout to set up the 2-point conversion play, and although you hate to use them, they need these 2 points to close within 14.
You really have to call the timeout because if you come to the line of scrimmage with not everybody on the same page, knowing what's going on, this is a very, very big play because they have to have the 2 points.
Of course, it's the kind of thing that drives coaches nuts, too. Man in motion is Barron, and Ham wants to throw again. Now he'll run. He's got an opening. And Tracy Ham gets the 2-point conversion. Big play there because Georgia Southern has now pulled within 2 7-point scores. Timeout on the field. The score, Furman 28 and Georgia Southern 14. Here's the touchdown that gets Georgia Southern back in it.
Tracy Ham pulling up to his left, trying the defense and moving that free safety to the left, opening that seam for Monty Sharp. Nice throw.
Georgia Southern to kick it off. Foley with Rudder waiting deep in his own end zone. Foley, the straightaway kickoff man, got a 5-yard deep, and Rudder wants to bring it out. And his blocker was knocked down, and Rudder went down over him shy of the 20-yard line.
It was Jeff Grady, the wide receiver. You talk about sacrificing your body. It's those guys on the kamikaze squad coming down and trying. Their job is to be the wedge buster. Oh. Look at number 31 for Georgia Southern. Or was that 21?
May have been 34. I'm not sure.
He went by so fast I couldn't catch his number.
Lamb is 11 out of 13, 169 yards. And he'll start inside his own 20-yard line. Give it to the fullback. Not much there. Georgia Southern trying to recapture the momentum as they pull within 28-14. Time is not yet a factor because there's 6.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. But Furman would still like to work on that clock as much as possible.
Well, there's a lot of confusion on that Furman side right now. There's been a lot of substitutions.
Goldsmith is in there at fullback, Speaks as a wingback. And Lamb wants to throw. Sideline and incomplete. Speaks was over there. He thought he had it. May have been out of bounds when he caught it.
The ball, let's take a look and see if he was inbounds or not. He only has to get 1 foot in. He's on his knees. He's definitely in. I believe I'll throw my glasses down to that official, and maybe he can use them better than I can.
Only thing could have been maybe that first knee came down on the sideline, but from this angle, it certainly didn't look like it. 3rd and 8 for the Paladins. When Lamb has missed, and it's been very rarely, it's not been his fault. He's been on target with every throw. 3-man rush. And this time it's knocked away. Great defensive play by Nay Young, who came up diving and knocked it away. And Georgia Southern really getting emotional on defense.
And tremendous pressure by Donnie Allen. He really leveled Bobby Lamb after he let that one go. So this is a big turning point. Georgia Southern has gone down the field. They scored, and they shut them down in 3 and out. Big Mo might be moving over here to the white side of the field.
Alston Hamilton, who was the regular season punter and did not kick until this championship game in the playoffs because of the 52-man player limit, gets off a nice high punt that will roll dead at the 44-yard line, but it's excellent field position for Georgia Southern, and they seem to have the momentum, trailing 28-14.
During that punt, Tony Belser was complaining to the official because he had signaled for a fair catch. And number 47 for Furman had come down, Kelly Smith, and did not allow him enough room. He was wanting interference.
5:49 to go, 3rd quarter. Georgia Southern with the football. Ham under a lot of pressure again. Still got it off and incomplete. Ham really pressured that time. He had Kenny Elder, number 51, all over him. And Elder must be starting to wonder, what do you have to do to get this guy down?
Boy, he has just been in the backfield all day. But you got to credit Tracy Ham for his composure. And even though he's in the grasp, he is still looking for a receiver. He's saved Georgia Southern about 45 yards so far in lost yardage.
Sure has. Kenny Elder, who had had 2 sacks on the season coming into this game, has had Ham twice and made him throw in a hurry. 2nd and 10. That's Barron in motion. And Ham straight back to throw this time. He's been more successful on these patterns and hits Barron at the 41. When he gets rid of that ball in a hurry on those quick patterns, that's when they've had their big success.
It is, and that's when the route has been developed, when they have the schemes. What they haven't been doing is running the quick breaking routes. Now they're starting to use those, and the Tracy Ham is just going on a straight drop back. Tracy Ham has a very quick release. Watch this release. He gets rid of the ball. He hits that back foot, and then he just lets that thing fly.
5:22 to go, 3rd quarter. Georgia Southern trying to get back in it. And the fullback, Gerald Harris, had nowhere to go. He ran into a stone wall in the person of Kyle Davis, number 58, who is 216 pounds and leads this team in tackles.
And you can see why right there. He said, pleased to make your acquaintance, Mr. Harris.
Boy, that's when you get your helmet chipped.
I wouldn't know. I never had that problem. The only time mine was when I dropped it on the sideline.
Hey, they don't draft you into the pros because they want you to stand on the sideline.
Now you tell me.
Oh. Ham to throw again. Once again, a quick pattern. Has a man out there complete. It's going to be a touchdown. Frank Johnson. He split 2 defenders inside the 10-yard line and took it in.
It's almost like deja vu. Whatever Furman does about 3 plays later or 3 series later, then Georgia Southern will come back and the same thing happens. Here, the 2 defenders knock each other off and allow Frankie Johnson to go in for a score. Great throw, great concentration. But I think that's the reason, because they're throwing the football, that Frankie Johnson's in the ball game and not Ricky Harris.
I think you're exactly right about that. The point after would pull Georgia Southern within 7, and it does. And you've got to give a tremendous amount of credit, Sam, I think, to Georgia Southern coach Irk Russell and his coaching staff. Their bread and butter is running that option play, and Furman shut it down. So they've gone to something else, and very few teams can do that and do it successfully.
That's exactly right. Now that's what coaching is all about. Looking at that touchdown again, Tracy Ham looking again. He looks the defense off to the left side of the field and then throws back in that seam. And there's Frankie Johnson missing the making them miss on the tackle and just lowering his head. Looking at it from the end zone, you can see how he pulls up, and you can see the defense get pulled out of position, and Frankie Johnson running back across the grain. Nice throw.
Tracy Ham now 13 out of 21, 248 yards and 2 touchdowns. Those are not bad stats for an option quarterback, are they?
Boy, his arm, he's going to have to ice his arm after this one. That'll be a first in his career.
28-21, Georgia Southern seemingly out of it at 21-6 has gone bang, bang, and is back within a single touchdown. Rudder is deep to receive the kick of Trey Harrell.
Frankie Johnson has been very instrumental because he's the one who's had several big catches in keeping drives alive.
Sure has. Trey Harrell, a straightaway kicker, and there's Irk Russell on the sideline. That Mr. Clean look.
Which one's Irk?
17 years the defensive coordinator in Georgia. Took over at Georgia Southern. Rudder a yard deep this time. Got a hole this time. Got across the 20 at least to about the 22-yard line. And Furman now in the position of having to try to recapture some of the momentum that they've obviously lost.
That's right. The guys on the kamikaze squad, number 34, Robert Underwood. You can just see that hole close up. Look at him sacrifice his body, throw that arm out, and just try to make a hit.
Bobby Lamb, the quarterback. Under pressure, and he escapes and throws sideline incomplete to Kirk Burnett. Burnett had a chance to catch it and didn't hold it.
Donnie Allen again escaping the brush and putting pressure on Bobby Lamb. Bobby Lamb stood in there strong. So Kirk Burnett took a hard shot on the sideline. He's not going to come back into the ballgame.
Lamb is only 2 out of his last 7. 3rd and 7 to go right now. And Furman needs a big play. Plenty of time against the 3-man rush, and complete off the fingertips of Larry Grady. And because Grady was drilled, Terry Young, number 30, got him in the back.
That was a nice throw by Bobby Lamb, but I don't know how many people can hang on to this one. The ball is high, which is what a defensive back loves because he can really separate the ball from the receiver.
They've got to punt it again. Low line drive kick. Fair catch called for by Belser. Has it at the 41. And once again, Georgia Southern will have tremendous field position to start. And this game has really just turned around 180 degrees.
It definitely has. And you know what happens is sometimes when you come out and you score again, you're leading at halftime, and then you come out and you get another score, you say, okay, now let's go ahead and put it on cruise control because I think we got this one in the bag. And if Dandy Don was here, he'd probably be singing Turn Out the Lights. But we got a ball game now.
Yeah, they better put it back on manual. 3:28 to go. And Georgia Southern is going to stick with what's working. Almost intercepted. With a fingertip on it that time was Carl Moody, who has been everywhere. He plays a defensive end spot.
But they are mixing it up, trying to confuse, but Georgia Southern has gone to just a straight drop-back game. Tracy Ham now has 248 yards in the ball game, throwing the football, not running it, which is his forte.
There is Moody at 197 pounds. He plays just about anywhere that he can in this defensive scheme.
It sure seems that way because it seems like he's been everywhere.
2nd and 10. That's Worsham in motion, and they'll blow the play dead before it gets snapped.
False start this way.
Had a false start on somebody. That'll cost him 5 yards.
starting to get a little noisy in here, and it's tough for those linemen to hear the cadence of quarterback Tracy Ham. That's the second motion penalty that Georgia Southern has had. You can watch the left-hand side of your screen. You'll see a little bit of movement. Left-hand side of your screen, you can see when the defense shifted outside, that caused the offensive line to wiggle a little bit, and they can't do that.
2nd and 15. Ham to throw again. Now he'll run out of the pocket. Almost to midfield. Dragged down from behind by Jeff Blankenship, the freshman linebacker who had him around the ankles. It'll be shy of a first down, but another nice gain for Tracy Ham.
Very nice game. He is coming back. He's looking downfield, and the longer that it takes for the pass to get off, the deeper the linebackers get, which allows Tracy Ham to have more running room because they have to honor the fact that he can still throw the ball up to a certain point, which makes it very difficult. It's that no man's land where you're in between.
3rd down, 3 yards to go. Worsham in motion, and they'll run the option to get to 3. They pitch it. Harris. He's going to go all the way. Gerald Harris, touchdown, and we're 1 point away from being tied. Holy cow.
Excellent play by Tracy Ham. At the time, Furman did not have anyone assigned to the quarterback. They had one guy. The option man got caught, and he had to make a decision whether to go to the pitch man or take the quarterback. Tracy Ham pulled him in and then at the last second made the pitch to Harris, and Harris just turned it on going down the sideline.
Gerald Harris with his 17th touchdown rushing this year. He has carried 8 times for 84 yards. This would tie it up, and does. Georgia Southern, after being down 28-6, has scored 22 straight points in about a half a quarter and has tied it up at 28 all. How's that for a comeback, Sam?
Boy, that's great. And they have come back, and they've done it, like we said, throwing the football. This time, now they have Furman thinking that they're going to be passing now all the time. 3rd and short, and they come with the option, and you can see that running lane that Harris had, and he just turned it on down the sideline. The secondary got caught up. They got the offensive line was able to go down, seal off the backside, which gave Harris the running lane.
2:28 to go in the 3rd quarter, and Irk Russell has to be very proud of his ball club. Proud of his coaching staff, too.
Oh, yeah, look at him smile.
They made. Hey, you know coaches don't smile till it's over.
Oh, that's right.
And then only one of them does.
You know, before he got into coaching, I bet he had hair.
28 all. This is the kicker, Trey Harrell, lacing it up. And all at once, Furman's sideline is very, very quiet.
Trey Harrell ties that shoe up to give him that extra height on the football.
And he does kick them well.
He is a straight-ahead conventional kicker, a lost breed.
That's right. Rudder is deep to receive. Has not had a great deal of success in this game. On the season, he's averaged almost 26 yards a return. Harrell drills this one. 8 yards deep, and Rudder will have to recover the fumble and down it. And Furman, once again, will start in poor field position from their own 20-yard line. Sam, what do you think Furman has to do to turn this around?
First thing they got to do is get a first down. They got to come out, but what's happened is they have not been very effective on first down. So consequently, when you don't have a good first down play, you're in a long yardage situation where you have to throw the football. And Georgia Southern has made some adjustments, taking away. They're dropping it and taking away the hook zones.
Bobby Lamb, number 19, leads them out with 2:28 to go, 3rd period. His ball club has been shut down almost totally defensively since they scored here at the start of the 3rd quarter. They'll give it to Bagwell, the tailback, cuts it out, then cuts it back in. Good run by Bagwell. Hard running across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. have to be impressed with Bagwell. He has run hard every time he's had the chance.
He's one of those 110% players that the coaches like. The guy that will sacrifice his body and go all out on every play. The time he wanted to go to the left side of the field, that was shut down over the left guard, so he cut it all the way back and ended up going between the right guard and the right tackle and getting about a 6 or 7 yard gain.
Second down, 3 yards to go for the Paladins of Furman. They may try to get back to basics and keep it on the ground for a while. Goldsmith is in there at fullback. They'll give it to Bagwell. Still on his feet, diving forward. Got within about a foot of the first down. Bagwell's second effort has really resulted in some yards today.
He's the type of runner that you definitely have to wrap up. When you go to hit him, you just can't put a good shot on him. You have to wrap your arms up as a defensive player and tie up his legs because he's constantly keeping them pumping. He's just, you hit him and those legs just continue to drive even harder.
Bagwell with 11 touchdowns rushing this year. Has 2 in this ball game. Third down in inches. 2 tight ends. Bagwell on the toss, trying to get outside, and they won't do it. Bagwell brought down at the 29-yard line. Brought down by Danny Durham, the linebacker.
Robert Underwood was also in there. Tremendous pursuit. That's got to help that Georgia Southern team. Again, they are going to start their drive on the offensive side of the field with a good field position.
Alston Hamilton in to punt again. And Belser is deep to receive, standing at his own 32. Hamilton needs a good kick, and he got one. Hung it high beautifully to the 34-yard line. Hamilton's best kick, but still good field position for Georgia Southern with 25 seconds to go in the quarter. They have scored the last 3 times they have touched the ball here in the third quarter. And boy, that's got to give you a lift.
Well, it definitely does. And the advantage that they've had in the second half is they can utilize their whole offense because they have not been back deep in their territory. And since they had to throw the football, that's a definite advantage.
You still stick with the passing game?
Oh, yeah. Stay with the girl that you brought to the dance.
They give it to the fullback up the middle. That's Harris across the 40 to about the 41-yard line. Gain of about 6. Harris scored the last touchdown on the option toss. And it doesn't look like we'll get another playoff here in the quarter. And quarterback Tracy Ham walks toward the sideline. He doesn't want to get off another play. He wants to switch sides. That's the end of the third quarter with our score. Furman 28 and Georgia Southern 28. We'll be right back after these messages. 28 all as we start the final 15 minutes of the Diamond Bowl, the NCAA Division I AA Championship from Tacoma, Washington. And Georgia Southern has certainly turned this game around. 2nd and 5 from their own 40. Ham to throw. Once again, fakes that quick play. Now being chased out of the pocket. He'll keep it, and this time they'll wrap him up. And it's number 79, Adrian Dupre, who makes the tackle. And it appears to be just shy of enough for a first down. Dupre, a sophomore, 228 pounds. He's a load at 6'6". And it is a first down as they mark it up at the 45 instead of the 44. 102 yards on the ground and 13 carries for Tracy Ham, who came into the game with 1,041 rushing, so he's up over 1,100. 1st and 10, they'll give it inside handoff to Johnson. To midfield. It's a pretty looking play.
Very nice. You have to have a quick quarterback, a quarterback with very quick feet because he has to do a 360 and then turn around and hand that ball underneath, but allow enough depth so that the running back can get underneath, because he has to run between the guard and the quarterback.
Every time I see that play, I think of Penn State. First time I ever saw it was there. They have run it for years and always seemingly to perfection.
There's only so many things you can run on a football field.
2nd and 5 for Georgia Southern. Ham gets it out to Johnson, who's been dynamite out of the backfield. Johnson to the 37-yard line.
Frankie Johnson has been a definite asset for the Georgia Southern football team.
Tackle was made by Darrell Gardner, the linebacker.
He just is coming out on just a simple flat route. Tracy Ham pulls up real quick, almost a three-step drop, gets the ball to the running back as fast as he can so that he can do his thing with the ball.
That's been the key, hasn't it, Sam? Getting him to them very quickly.
That's exactly right, because that way they can get the ball tucked away and then turn upfield and have a chance to make a move. 1st and 10, that was Barron in motion. Inside handoff again, coming back to the tailback. To the 24-yard line goes Ricky Harris, who is back in there now. They're really doing as they wish, it seems as though. Again, the underneath handoff. Tracy Ham just getting the defense thinking that it's going to be a sweep and then handing off underneath. You can see the whole offensive line pulling to their left. Almost a student body left.
Squire had to make the tackle again as they reached the 28 for another first down, and this proud Furman defense is being chewed up here in the second half. Ham to throw again quickly. His tailback inside the 15, Ricky Harris. Harris came into this game as the leading receiver on the club with 26. But as Sam pointed out, they took him out in favor of Frank Johnson, who I guess is a better downfield receiver.
And which is what they were using, was their downfield passing game. Now they're starting to take everything in the flat, get the ball to the back quick, because Furman was dropping back and their linebackers were getting a lot of depth. And that's the key to offensive football, is take what the defense gives you.
This must be a very difficult adjustment for Furman. They have really worked on stopping the option, the heart and soul of this offense. They've done it, and now they're being burned with everything else. Ham straight back to throw again. Touchdown! That's Herman Barron, the tight end from Milledgeville, Georgia. And the Georgia Southern offense is absolutely on fire.
They are unconscious right now. They are doing everything they want. Tracy Ham had all day back there to throw. You could see him looking to the left, and then he had 3 different receivers that he could pick from on that touchdown. Found the seam and then threw the shot.
Well, we expected points, and we're sure getting them. And the point after, right through the heart of it. 12:21 to go in the game. There's a timeout on the field. The score, Georgia Southern 35, Furman 28. This is Ham with the touchdown that put Georgia Southern ahead, Sam.
Pulling up to his left and pumping once, and that receiver was covered, so then he went inside to a secondary receiver and threw the ball right in that seam. A great catch by Barron.
Georgia Southern really fired up. They were down 28-6. They have scored 29 straight points. Trey Harrell to kick it off. This time he missed it, and will kick it out of bounds. That'll cost him 5.
Maybe he had his shoe tied just a little bit too tight.
So they'll move it back to the 35-yard line, and this is about the first thing in an entire quarter of football that has gone right for Furman.
Boy, maybe that'll wake them up. Say, uh-oh, fellas, we better start playing a football game.
Well, it's a real gut check for the Paladins right now, having been in seeming control of everything, up 28-6, everything going their own way offensively and defensively. And all at once the roof has fallen in, figuratively.
And you can really tell the difference just at looking at the sideline. The players are standing around on the Furman side of the field just kind of stargazing, and everybody is really slapping and slap happy over here on the near sideline, Georgia Southern.
And they have every right to be. What a tremendous second half comeback it's been.
What a great championship game we've had.
Boy, it sure has been.
You can see why these two teams got to the finals.
Trey Harrell to kick it away, this time from the 35-yard line. And Mark Rudder is waiting at his 2. Harrell really got all of this one and drives Rudder all the way back to the goal line. Furman needs a big return, and they won't get a big one. They'll get back out over the 25 And Bobby Lamb needs to get that Furman offense back in gear. They have been almost totally shut down here in the second half. Georgia Southern has not only made those great offensive adjustments, they've done it on defense.
They definitely have done it on defense. In taking away, what they've done is take away the seam. They took a look at the routes that were being run by Furman and made some adjustments to take away the throwing lanes.
The lone remaining running back is Dry. They have Jaeger, number 34, on a wing, and now he'll come back to tailback on 1st and 10 from the 26. Run the option to Jaeger. Jaeger with a big hole, cuts it outside to the 45-yard line. That's exactly what Furman had to have.
And they got it. Nice block by Dry, kicking out.
Boy, he's had some great blocks in this game.
Watch Bobby Lamb come down run the option, pull, pitch the ball at the last second, and allow Jaeger to have that running lane. What happened was the corner came from the outside. He was maintaining his leverage, but Jaeger cut up the field so fast, I thought that Dry had blocked, but Dry was going up the middle of the field on a fake.
Jaeger, 6 carries, 40 yards. 1st and 10, Paladins at their own 44. Whale of a championship game from Tacoma. Lamb throws it over the middle, and it was knocked away. Great defensive play by Tyrone Hall, who reached out and got a hand on it. It was intended for the tight end, Jeff Lee, who was open.
Jeff Lee was open because they had run the little play fake, the dive fake to pull the linebackers up. Hull saw the ball come out of the fullback's belly. He went into and cut off the throwing lane to tight end Lee.
11 minutes, 34 seconds to go in the title game. 2nd and 10, Furman, their own 44. Lamb on the option, gets it to Jaeger. Jaeger still on his feet as he reaches the Furman or the Georgia Southern 45-yard line, and where they mark it should be good enough for a first down.
Very nice block by the tight end, Jeff Lee, which allowed extra running room to gain the first down. He had his man down beyond the first down marker.
They'll send Larry Grady, number 83, back into the ballgame at wide receiver for number 10, Kirk Burnett. Furman looks a little sharper on offense right now than they have the entire second half. Lamb on the option again. He'll keep it. 35, 32-yard line. First down. Nay Young had to make the tackle along with Larry Boone, one of the defensive guards who chased him all the way downfield.
Bobby Lamb running the option, coming down, and one defender has to cover 2 guys. Bobby fakes the pitch, getting him going outside. But notice how Jaeger maintains his pitch relationship. If Bobby had cut to the outside, he still could have pitched it to him when he got tackled.
Another first down for Furman at the Georgia Southern 32. They go back to the I. Jaeger, the tailback. Dry is the fullback. They'll give it to Jaeger. Straight ahead handoff, and this one doesn't go anywhere. Tyrone Hall, number 46, in on the stop for Georgia Southern. Also had Jesse Jenkins in there.
I think they'd argue with somebody that looked like Irk.
Not me. I wouldn't argue with Dick Sheridan either. I try not to argue with anybody. I lose. Dick Sheridan obviously concerned over what has happened to his ball club, up 28-6. Now they're down 35-28. 2nd and 7 as Jaeger got 3 out of that one. Now Bagwell is in at the tailback, and he'll get the pitch. Bagwell trying to get outside. To the sideline he goes. Driven out of bounds at the 25. Bagwell got all out of that one that he could. They'll mark it at the 24.
Again, looking at the cat and mouse game that coaches play, Georgia Southern's made an adjustment because Bobby Lamb has had some success running the option. They now are bringing their defensive ends down, crashing them, forcing Bobby to pitch early, which allows the inside pursuit to get outside and cut off the running back. 3rd
down, 2 yards to go. Big play for Furman. They need to keep the drive alive. Lamb on the option, cuts it back, first down at the 20. Nice play by Lamb. He was concerned about the first down and nothing else and made sure he got it.
As soon as he got that first down, he went right to the ground. Bobby Lamb has been very effective this whole ball game. Kind of cooled off there in the third quarter, but looks like he's back in control.
Well, we were told we'd see two great quarterbacks today, and they told us the truth. They have been exceptional. Bagwell, the tailback. Goldsmith now in at fullback. Goldsmith will have the ball. Goldsmith to the 14-yard line. They like to run Goldsmith on those quick hitters, and he runs them well.
Running that inside trap where the left guard comes across, and they try to trap the defensive guard or the defensive tackle on the inside, kick him out, and the fullback just goes right off the guard's tail and just goes right up the field. I had to think of what I could say on the air.
Tail was a good choice. 9:07 left in the game. 2nd and 5 for the Paladins. Goldsmith and Bagwell, the running backs. Lamb will keep it on the option. Not much this time. Got to about the 12. He'll be 2 yards shy of a first down.
Danny Allen again coming from being very active. He's been, he'll get to know Bobby Lamb very well by the time this ball game's over. He's been chasing him all day.
I would think both defenses have to be very, very tired. They've run all over the field. And defenses do get more tired than offenses.
Because the unknown. The offense knows where they're going. The defense doesn't.
3rd down, 3 yards to go for Bobby Lamb. Bagwell following Goldsmith. Gets to about the 7, and it's another Furman first down. Well, they like to go to Bagwell on the plays that really count, and he's come through for them.
Because of the fact that he's such a hard runner, like we've alluded to earlier, that once he gets hit, his feet continue to churn. And again, second effort is what got that first down. He was stopped short, but by the time he came down from the bottom of the pile, or from falling over the top of the pile, it was a first down.
1st and goal. Furman. They're down 35-28, going for the tie right here. Remember, there would be an overtime in case of a tie. Bagwell again on the toss behind Goldsmith. Bagwell, touchdown!
Tremendous running, just power running, keeping those feet going. He just followed Goldsmith right into the end zone. And again, Nay Young was just in reverse. He's used to retreating as a defensive back, and he saw that blocker coming, didn't realize where the goal line was, and didn't try to shed the blocker, allowed Bagwell to score.
For people who have never played this game at any level, it might be hard to understand how much courage it takes for both of these clubs to do what they've done. First for Georgia Southern to make the tremendous comeback to go ahead, and then for Furman to suck it up and come back, and this point after would tie it, and does. That is a tremendous gut check right there.
It definitely is a gut check.
7:51 left to a timeout on the field. The score, Georgia Southern 35 and Furman 35. We're tied at 35, and this is the way it happened as John Bagwell ran it in for Furman.
Just a simple eye toss sweep. Look at Goldsmith looking for somebody to block, finds Nay Young and just drives him into the end zone.
Furman kicking off. This is Belser, a yard deep in the end zone. Belser breaks a tackle. Flags are down because we had a clip inside the 10-yard line. Very obvious, and the official a little late with the flag, but did throw it. And this is going to push Georgia Southern back inside their own 10. Here are the stats on Tracy Ham so far. 17 out of 25 passing, 284 yards, 3 touchdowns and interception. He has only rushed 13 times for 102 yards.
Oh, that's all. No problem.
Just the kind of stats you used to rack up every weekend.
That's right. Yeah, I hold the NFL record for the most yards gained on the sideline.
Well, we're talking college here, Sam. You didn't get drafted without stats like that, did you?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I take that back.
Tracy Ham, what a great day he has had. Only a junior, but it is his 5th year, as Sam alluded to earlier.
It's his 4th year, which if he comes back next year will be his 5th year. But he is eligible for the draft, and the Canadian scouts are definitely interested in him. And he has not let them down today. In fact, I believe his stock has gone up.
I would think so. Here's the clipping call.
Personal foul. This way. No.
Wait a minute. Now somebody's going to have to explain this one to me.
Foul. Personal foul. This way. First down.
There was a clip, and then they called a personal foul.
A double foul.
Later, and they move it back to the 19-yard line. And that's a big break for Georgia Southern. 7:45 left in the game. We're tied at 35 points apiece. Ham, quarterback draw. Just cat quick. Getting through people. Tripped up by Jeff Blankenship, and if he didn't get him, Ham's probably still darting it in and out of defenders.
Just weaving his way through traffic, trying to pick up yardage. Starting back on a quarterback draw, just taking a straight back from the center and then looking for a running lane. There you can see Gerald Harris throwing a nice block, and then Tracy Ham just weaving his way through traffic.
5 yards for Ham on that one. 14 carries, 107 yards on the day. 2nd and 5. Ham guns it over the middle, complete to Belser at the 38-yard line. Tony Belser has made several clutch catches today, along with Monty Sharp.
Tracy Ham took a real nice shot, and he's limping a little bit on his left leg. Again, Belser coming on a simple square-in route. There's a huge seam in the middle. You can see the linebacker standing in the middle of the field. Tracy Ham getting the ball before the receiver, getting the ball to the receiver before he gets to that linebacker.
1st and 10, Georgia Southern, its own 28. Clock running, 6:39 left to go in the game. We are tied at 35. Johnson, inside handoff, gets to the 40, maybe the 41-yard line, and no more.
Tracy Ham is injured a little bit. That time he had to do a double take, and looking back after he handed that ball, he had a little bit of trouble getting out of Frankie Johnson's way on that reverse pivot and underneath handoff.
Well, one thing Georgia Southern is doing here, if they can keep the drive going on the ground, they're working on the clock. We're down to 6:08.
And remember, bear in mind, they do have a very good place kicker.
Ball spotted at the 46-yard line, 2nd and 7. Ham on the option. They'll force him out of bounds at about the 43-yard line is where they'll mark it. Gain of only about 2. One of the few times they've really been able to contain him at all today.
And he is definitely shaken up on that left leg, and what has happened is, instead of him turning out the field, he tried to get out of bounds. He tried to get out of bounds and avoid the hit. Here he is, very tentative, running downfield, and you see Gerald Harris leading the play. He had lost his pitch, and then Tracy tries to get out of bounds and then takes a shot from Carl Moody, and he was real slow getting up on that left leg.
Brian Allison, the defensive lineman for Furman, limped off the field. 3rd and 5. Big play here with 5:52 to go. Barron in motion. Pressure on Ham. He'll go right up the middle. Dives forward. Let's see where they mark it. It's very close to a first down, and the official now steps forward a little bit. It's going to have to be measured.
Let's test your eyes here, Michael.
Uh-oh.
You make the call.
Short by 6 inches. But you have to remember, my track record is miserable.
Oh, forever?
That's right. I'm at least 0 for December.
I believe you have this call, though.
Well, let's see. I may be 1 for 1 for Christmas week.
The official having a tough time finding where to spot the...
Well, that was the strangest measurement I ever saw.
I think the fog is getting to him. Oh,
Now, they had to go back to the sideline. They're going to remark it again. They were measuring on the other side of the official, which makes it a little difficult. It's 2 feet away from the ball. So now the chain gang will try it again.
He got fogged out on his flight also, and he had to overnight it in Portland and walk up.
That looked like 6 inches short to you, partner?
Hey, you are 1 for 1.
1 for 1.
You're on a roll.
Well, I'm going to quit right now while I'm ahead. So Georgia Southern will send in 3, 4, 5 players. It looks like they're going to punt the ball, but Tracy Ham now is back out on the field. Maybe they'll go for it.
I think they're going for it. They're bringing in the big guys, the tight ends. They're going to line everybody up.
And the punter is not on the field. They will go for it with 5:38, 4th and inches.
Let's see if Tracy Ham tries to use a hard count to draw Furman offside. This is a good time to use that.
Quarterback keeper, and he looked like he got it and a little more. That's confidence in your offensive line that they can move him out.
That's right. You definitely have to have that push when you run that quarterback sneak.
And they've got a couple of big tackles in there they love to run behind. Vance Pike at 265, who was a transfer from Auburn and a transfer from LSU. Jeff Evans, who's at 260. The other lineman, Cochran at 260, Dennis Franklin at 230, and James Carter at 260. So there's some beef up there to run behind.
And Vance Pike is probably their best offensive lineman, and he's the guy who has all the pro scouts. He has their attention. He's graded out in their first 10 games. He had graded out the highest in 8 of them.
1st and 10, 5:05 and counting. Georgia Southern in possession, and Ham straight back to throw. Guns it complete. 30. 25-yard line goes Delano Little, and it's another first down for Georgia Southern. And when Ham throws those quick passes on those sharp breaking patterns, he has been terribly successful.
Over the middle, there's a lot of seams there, very conscious in taking away the outside. And you can see him coming across the middle. The linebacker gets frozen in the middle of the field. The outside linebacker is on the sideline, so there's a huge hole for Tracy to get that sideline shot in there.
Georgia Southern, which has had a big second half, driving to take the lead from the 25-yard line. They'll give it to Harris. Harris to about the 22. Clock ticking away now down at 4:19. And Georgia Southern accomplishing a lot with this drive.
They're eating up the clock. They're working themselves into their indefinite field goal range right now. The big thing that they have to watch, do not turn the football over in 4-down territory.
Their field goal kicker, Tim Foley, has 2 today and is 22 of 25 on the year. He is a great field goal kicker. 2nd and 7 with tremendous range, by the way. Ham to throw. Incomplete. This time just off the hands of Delano Little. And good coverage back there by the Paladins. The strong safety Russell Rush was right on top of him.
Tracy Ham, you can see the displeasure on his face because that pass was a little bit behind Delano Little. Delano tried to reach back and catch that football, but Tracy had a lot of mustard on this one, and that one's tough to hang on to.
And Steve Squire almost got a hand on it. 3rd and 7 here. Furman trying to hold on and force a field goal. And Georgia Southern will have to use another timeout. Their 2nd of this half. Furman still has all 3 left. There is a timeout on the field. Our score is Georgia Southern 35 and Furman 35. 3rd down, 7 yards to go for Georgia Southern from the Furman 22. Biggest play of the game so far. And it will rest on the shoulders of Tracy Ham, the outstanding option quarterback, who has not only run brilliantly today, but passed brilliantly as well. And you see the numbers on him. 14 out of 19, 220 yards passing. That's just in the second half. He's just done an exceptional job.
Came in the second half. They were behind in one other ball game earlier in the year and brought them back to a 35-18 victory.
Georgia Southern 12-2, Furman 12-1 in the championship of Division I AA comes down to this. Ham wants to throw under pressure. Deep sideline, too high for Belser. Good coverage over there by Furman. The Paladins had 3 players, including number 31, Jerome Norris, on the coverage.
And you have to also give a lot of credit to number 51, Kenny Elder, because he maintained his leverage, did not allow Tracy Ham to get outside the pocket, because if he had been able to get outside the pocket, he would have run for a first down.
Foley is on to try a 39-yard field goal. He has been perfect inside the 40 this year. Low line drive, but he got it through. Foley did not hit it perfectly, but he certainly hit it well enough. His third field goal of the ball game. There's a timeout on the field. 3:37 left. The score, Georgia Southern 38 and Furman 35. Here's the field goal. Watch the snap.
The snap was rolled back to the holder, number 1, Monty Sharp. And he, because being a wide receiver has such great hands, got the ball on the tee, which allowed Tim Foley to make that field goal. And look at how excited he is. After he saw that it was good, he sprinted all the way down to the goal line. He just wanted to follow that one, make sure it went through.
Could be the difference in winning or losing a championship. Georgia Southern now up 38-35 with 3:37 left to go in this championship game. Mark Rudder awaits Harold's kick, 8 yards deep. He'll have to down it there. And Furman, with 3:37 left in the game, will have to start from its own 20-yard line and one more time to see if the Paladins can come back.
If you don't think Irk Russell's not into the ball game, the defense went out on the field. I think he wanted to be out there too. He had run halfway out to the numbers. Then he realized he didn't have pads on and he might get hurt.
Something tells me that didn't stop him. It must have been something. It must have been a rule book. Bobby Lamb leads out his ball club. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Furman with all 3 timeouts remaining. They can run their offense. They'll give it to Goldsmith straight up the middle, and Goldsmith to the 34-yard line. They have hurt them with quick hitters today, especially with Goldsmith. And here's the hurry-up offense.
Furman going with the hurry-up offense. Look at the hole, though, Goldsmith has. Look at the block by the center, number 52, Reeder. You can see why he was voted the best blocker in the conference.
1st and 10, Paladins. Completed to Chris Speaks, the tailback. Gets about 9. No huddle. 3 minutes and 9 seconds to go, and Speaks will limp off the field. Lamb calling the plays right now from the line of scrimmage. 2nd and a yard for the Paladins, and he wants to throw it. Sideline to Goldsmith, his fullback. Goldsmith to the 48-yard line. Another first down for Furman. Nay Young, number 3 on the tackle.
The way things are going, Furman could score too quickly, which would then give Georgia Southern another chance of getting that football. They have to start looking at the clock.
Well, the key is to score, right?
That's the bottom line.
Lamb back to throw on a 3-man rush. Guns it deep over the middle, and he's got a man at the 25-yard line. That's Brian Jaeger, the tailback. And they have thrown well to the backs, something that they didn't do much at all during the season and the playoffs.
What they did that time was line Jaeger out in the slot position as a flanker and then just send him straight down the field. As soon as Bobby Lamb hit that back foot, he laid it right over the linebacker on that seam that we've seen both teams complete very well all day.
Jaeger, an academic All-American, had caught 1 pass coming into this ballgame for 9 yards. Tough kid, has to have his knees drained of fluid before almost every game. But he's in there along with Goldsmith. They'll run the option. Goldsmith on the toss, forced out of bounds. They'll mark it at the 22-yard line. Gain of about 3, maybe 4. And 2:03 left to go in the game. What an exciting one it has been.
The thing that Furman has done is they have moved right down the field by using that 2-minute offense, which allowed Georgia Southern not to huddle, not to regroup. They've been having to call their defense, and they have kind of stretched them out.
Grady goes to the left. Kirk Burnett splits to the right. Goldsmith and Jaeger are the running backs behind Bobby Lamb. Run the option to the far side. Lamb gone the keeper. Now he pitches. Jaeger to the 4-yard line. What a play by Bobby Lamb.
Again, that's what I was talking about earlier, maintaining that pitch relationship so that once you're down the field, you can still pitch the ball when you get tackled as a quarterback. Here Bobby Lamb is coming down the field, fakes that pitch, gets a strong safety out of position, and then knows he's going to get tackled. Last minute throws it out to Jaeger.
Danny Durham, number 26, was the only defender out there. He was between a rock and a hard place.
That's right.
Played it as well as he possibly could. First and goal, Furman, 4-yard line. Clock running, 1:38 left. Bagwell is in there at the tailback, and he'll get the ball behind Goldsmith. Bagwell, touchdown!
What a ball game.
Woo! Well, we couldn't ask for any more, could we?
They are going to have to replace this turf at the Tacoma Dome because it is worn out. As much yardage has been gained today by both ball clubs.
How about the scoreboard?
Well, that one, they have it for basketball, so it's used to going that high.
This is the first Division I college football game to ever be played in the Tacoma Dome. And boy, they've done it right. That's Bagwell, his 3rd touchdown of the game. Big extra point here. Esfall, the lead is 3. He could make it 4 and force Georgia Southern to get a touchdown. And he does. Esfall drills it through in this back and forth game. Now has Furman on top, 42-38 with 1:32 left. Well, if you like offense, you must love this.
You got that right. I just love these offensive kind of football games.
Gonna look at Bagwell. He knows where the end zone is.
Again, they just give him that toss, and he finds that seam. He has the ability on that sweep to stretch that defense out, find a running lane, and then lower his shoulders and head north and south.
We'd like to take this opportunity to thank the media coordinator for the bowl game, Alfred White from Georgia Southern, the athletic director, David Wagner, head football coach, Irk Russell, and the sports information director, Mitch Goodman. From Furman, the athletic director and head football coach, Dick Sheridan, and sports information director, Rick Strunk, for all their help in getting us ready for this ball game. The executive producer for NCAA Productions is Jim Marcione. Today's game has been produced by Irving Snuffy Smith and directed by Tommy Williamson. Our production manager, Kathy Bennett, and production facilities provided by Northwest Mobile Productions. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for all your help. You've done a great job on the telecast. Once again, it's one of the up men, and it's Gary Miller, reserve fullback, who gets it up to about the 28-yard line. And with 1:26 left, it's going to be the last hurrah for Georgia Southern.
And believe me, if I was a betting man, I'd bet my bottom dollar that they're going to go down swinging.
Well, one thing for sure, both of these teams have a lot to be proud of. The 2 best Division I AA teams in the country. They're 4 points apart with 1:26 to go. And just played great. Tracy Ham, the quarterback, with his work cut out for him. They have to have a touchdown. Deep sideline pattern complete to Monty Sharp in Furman territory. But there is a flag down, and I think we have a holding penalty that is going to bring it back.
It's exactly what it is. Tracy Ham had a lot of time back there to throw. They had the Furman defensive line all bunched up, but when one of them started to escape, the official saw that hand go out and grabbed that blue jersey. Tracy Ham back in the pocket. You can see him. He's standing in the pocket, cannot find his receiver. Sees number 64 being held.
That's
right.
Greg Hall being held. It makes you wonder why you'd hold somebody who's rushing Tracy Ham. They can't get him anyhow.
Isn't that the truth? He is so elusive back there.
Offense.
That costs them back to the 17-yard line, where it's 1st and 15. Clock running, 1:14 left. Ham with a lot of time. Bombs away. Complete to Frank Johnson. He just threw it as far as he could.
That's
Johnson
right.
ran under it.
That's exactly right. He just said, you go deep. Again, he had a lot of time back there. Furman defensive line could not get any pressure. Tracy Ham just all of a sudden, notice that quick release, and just let that baby fly.
And Robert Little was back there to make the tackle. I don't think he could believe that Ham could throw the ball that far, but he did. Ham back to throw again. Plenty of time. Now running. 25. Tries to get out of bounds and does, and stops the clock with 52 seconds left. Boy, with Ham with the ball, I would not want to be on defense. He just kills you.
Because you're never right. In whatever decision you make, he always does the opposite. You say, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and stay back in coverage, and then he gets a 10-yard gain. You say, I'm going to come up and stop him for this one, and then he completes the pass right behind you to your man.
Second down, 5 yards to go at the 25-yard line. Georgia Southern cannot settle for a field goal. They're down by 4. They need a touchdown. Ham is responsible for 489 yards in total offense, 371 yards passing, and 118 rushing. What a ball game. Ham set this time. They got a hold of him, and they'll sack him at the 30-yard line. Number 50, Eddie Bopp, and number 79, Adrian Dupre. And that may have been the biggest tackle they've ever combined on.
That's exactly right. And immediately, Tracy Ham had the presence of mind, knowing that he was going down, to use that last timeout. Because this is a critical down for them.
There's Dupre, the sophomore.
Tracy Ham going back, looking downfield. He looked to the right, then he went back to the left, felt the pressure and started running around. But that time the Furman defenders, the front wall, was able to get some push on the offensive line and put some pressure on Tracy Ham. He could not just go back, stand there, look at the whole field, and just kind of move around. He had to start running and scrambling, and the pursuit was finally caught up with him.
Now Georgia Southern is out of timeouts, and there are 44 seconds left to go. The clock will only stop on incompletions, out-of-bounds plays, and first downs, but they will stop it only momentarily until they move the chains.
Allow them to regroup, reset the chains, which is a great benefit because it gives you time to get unpiled and get on the football.
The scoreboard tells the story. 42-38 Furman with the lead in a wild ball game.
As a defender, you're thinking they're going to be going to the sideline, but you have to be ever present of them going over the middle, especially with as much success as they've had throwing that square in route today.
Ham back to throw on 3rd and 11. Going for the end zone. Out of bounds. Monty Sharp tried to haul it down, but he was at least 5 yards out of bounds, and now it is 4th and 11 with 38 seconds to go. Georgia Southern has to get the first down to keep the drive alive.
That's right. That's a very good point, that they do have to get that first down. And then the key is you don't have to go to the end zone. You know, so you go to that intermediate route, you start running, you flood the zone, or, you know, you got everybody thinking pass. You got the Furman coaches saying, hey, back up. But, hey, it's only 4th and 11.
I'd like to see this one go on forever. You hate to see either team move.
What do we have here?
And the center, everybody moved.
But
except the center.
There's one key thing. You can't play without the football.
That's right. And the officials will sort it out. It would look like an illegal procedure call against Georgia Southern, which would cost them 5 more yards.
The way everybody reacted, I have a feeling that the center forgot the snap count. And I apologize if he did not, but you see everybody reacting, but you could see the movement. Watch Tracy Ham pull out, and you can see the offensive linemen start backing up. You say, whoop, wait a minute.
Well, either the center was wrong or the other 10 guys were, so I think the majority rules.
This way, dead ball, here.
Oh, my. Yes, the referee being very diplomatic because he's probably running for political office.
So it's still 4th and 11, 37 seconds left to go. Ham is going to run it. Now he throws complete to the 13-yard line. What a play by Tracy Ham, and did he have a lot on that one to Tony Belser. They'll stop the clock while they move the chains, and then it will restart again.
That's right.
Oh, what a gun he had on that one.
Boy, he did. Got his shoulders turned nice. He was weaving his way through traffic, saw Belser, and just let that baby rip.
The clock will start again as soon as the officials mark it for play. 29 seconds to go. No timeouts left for Georgia Southern. Ham just throws this one into cheap seats.
Yeah, if my guy can't get it, that's a smart play. My guy can't get it, I don't want anybody to get it.
21 seconds left, and this will give the sideline a chance to send in a couple of plays for Tracy Ham, patterns they want him to run.
Again, remember, they are out of timeouts.
And almost out of time. 21 seconds to go. Mike Patrick and Sam Atkins with you. Hope you've enjoyed the ball game. It has been a beauty to watch.
I know I have.
And we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Sam, it's been a pleasure working with you. Second down, 10 yards to go. Ham back to throw. Looking in the end zone, under pressure, and threw this one away. Another smart play by Ham. He almost threw that one in the parking lot.
Tremendous pressure by Al Peterson, who was just beside himself because, again, Tracy Ham made him miss. He was bearing down, coming right up the middle, and Tracy just gave him that limp leg, and then all he could do was tackle air. There's Tracy back in the pocket. You'll see number 75 come out of nowhere right up the middle, and just Tracy made him miss.
14 seconds left. 3rd and 10 for Georgia Southern. Ham.
Frankie Johnson.
Frankie Johnson on the quick post pattern, and with 10 seconds to go, Tracy Ham throws another bullet, and what a catch by Johnson.
My goodness, unbelievable. Frankie Johnson has had an unbelievable second half.
There is a flag down, and I think this is going to be because of the celebration.
Yeah, illegal participation.
You don't expect him to celebrate in that position? 44-42, Georgia Southern by 2 with 10 seconds left. They'll try to make it 3. That is an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that will cost him 15 yards.
Which will be assessed on the kickoff.
And that seems to be a little out of whack, too. 15 yards for that.
Especially under the circumstances.
Yeah. Foley will try the point after. It's rather academic. Another bad snap, and he missed this one. Tracy Ham, 22 of 35, 400 yards in the air, and 4 touchdowns. That's an option quarterback.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, that penalty, though, let's take a look at the touchdown first. Here you see Tracy again pumping to the left and then throwing back on a seam route over the middle to Frankie Johnson. Oh. What a shot by Tracy Ham, right between 3 defenders. Take a look at it once again.
Catch.
From the end zone, you can see all of a sudden he'll come right, there it is, throws it right between those 3 defenders. Great concentration. Frankie Johnson has made some tremendous catches.
Now Furman's only chance here is to run the kickoff back. And you know what Georgia Southern's going to do with the football.
One thing to bear in mind, though, is it's not over till it's over. That 15-yard penalty is now making its presence felt. Because
take it back to the 25.
Take it to the 25, which brings the kickoff. Probably they'll catch the ball around the 20 to the 15-yard line, so they might have one play, which
if they kick it deep. Now, do you kick it deep or do you kick a squib kick? If you kick a squib kick, you might be within range for a desperation field goal,
which would not allow them a chance to get their kickoff return. The thing the coaches are faced with is you kick it deep, you allow them to set up their kickoff return team. You kick a squib kick, you give up the yardage, but you don't let them set up their return, and you get a guy who's not used to handling the ball.
10 seconds to go. Tracy Ham with just an unbelievable ball game, and that doesn't include with what he has done on the ground. 113 yards rushing. So 513 yards offense from one guy.
I think that he will sleep well tonight.
Here's the kickoff. Let's see what they do, and they'll kick it deep. Mark Rudder, last chance for Furman from the 13-yard line. He's got a seam up the sideline. And Rudder out of bounds with 4 seconds to go. Holy cow, I thought he was going to break it all the way.
My goodness.
And as my partner Yogi said, it's not over till it's over. Still 4 seconds to go, and you can bet Bobby Lamb is going to throw that baby up for grabs.
Or another one of your partners said it ain't over till the fat lady sings.
That's right. Lamb will send 3 wide receivers all to the left side. They will hope for a penalty. Now, here's where that penalty comes into effect. If it is ruled interference, it is not at the point of the foul. They would only get 10 yards from it.
They would get 15 yards if it's a long pass.
Yes,
and then, but they would also get another play.
Right.
Because you cannot end the game on a defensive
and 15 yards would bring them within long field goal range. So let's see what happens. Bobby Lamb, who has also played a great game at quarterback for Furman, rolling out under a lot of pressure, just throws it. It'll be intercepted. No, it's short, but the ball game is over. And Georgia Southern, after being down 28-6, has climaxed a tremendous comeback. The end of the game, Georgia Southern 44-42. So long, everybody.